Come on, unmute. Okay, Hank, go ahead and unmute your mic.
There you go.
Okay, and I guess Chris has his mute. Okay, there we go. All right, everyone, welcome, and to another special episode of the Friday Night Special. I'm Gil. Hang on, let me kill this little ticker here so we can. Hey, there's our names.
Hey.
All right, I'm Gil. To my other side, that way is Hank. Down there is my twin brother from another mother, Scott, and then below me is Chris. And as we get going here, we got 12 watching so far. So with those that negotiator, hey, I'm going to do a little roll call over here. And I'm going to look over to the other screen. I'm going to say hi to everybody in here. We have Phelan Clan Wolf, the Heathstead, Chris and Sharon's Homestead Outdoors, Cecilia Jansen, Butch at Sand Hollow Homestead, Michael 58, Ryan the Gamer, Big Dreams Homestead, Negotiator, Scan Family, David's Mule Train Homestead, How to Garden, and that's all I can see so far. So, alrighty. So, a little quick introduction for any of you that joined from any of the other channels that got heads up that we're going to be doing this. I want to do a little intro so everyone knows who we are, what we have. My name's Gil. I just recently retired from Homeland Security, but years ago, I was a Class A general engineering contractor, and I worked construction for about 20 years. In between stints in law enforcement, I was a deputy sheriff as well. But yeah, so I've played on a lot. I played on a lot of these tractors that were in that slideshow there. And my twin brother down there, he's currently a crane operator. And Scott, tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Well, trying to get the heck out of California. I am a crane operator for going on 15 years. Big, heavy equipment. I love machines. And having grown up on the farm, driving heavy equipment on the farm, and I'm going back to the farm, I need a tractor. Don't have it yet. Here I am.
All right, Hank.
How about you, everybody? I'm Hank from Hamiltonville Farm. I'm retired Air Force, and now I just spend my days playing on my tractor.
And doing a lot of reviews.
I do a lot of product reviews. That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah. And below me is Chris. Chris, tell us about yourself.
All right. So I used to be an engineer for 10 years. Then I went into work for myself, doing heavy construction equipment control. And now I'm in law enforcement.
Cool. So, we've all spent time on tractors and stuff and done, research into them. So we're going to try to share what we know with each other and with you guys out there in the side chat. So in the side chat, want you to also, if you share any stuff you have, any information, because like with all those tractors out there, like I said, I've drove a good number of them, but probably maybe only a quarter of them. And as far as the small ones go and stuff, but so you guys probably know stuff that we don't know, just like we know some stuff that you don't know. So let's share. Let's everybody gain some knowledge here, and of course, show your support for everybody on my panel here. If you're not subscribed to them yet, check them out and go subscribe to them, and so bring their channels back up there. So. Yeah, really cool, guys. And Ryan, out there in the side chat, can you throw up links to everybody's channel so people can save those for us?
And we have a mod queen in here tonight. Kathy is in here.
Oh, Kathy's in here. Oh, all right. Ryan, you have help with Kathy. All right, there we go. Yeah.
We all love Kathy.
Yeah, and let me check one other thing here before we go here. Oh, one other final thing, guys. I want to make sure this does not happen. There it is on the banner. Please do not bring up the red dragon in any of the comments. Moderators, if someone keeps up bringing red dragon stuff, give them a warning. If they do it again, at the 300-second timeout, if they still persist, go ahead and knock them off for the night. Yeah, there's enough of that going on out there right now. My head's exploding with it. I've been doing research.
Started.
Yeah. No, I've been doing some heavy research, and I've been calling old buddies. But right now, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fun stuff. Boy toys. So
I just filmed today with my wife running the box blade, so she might think it's more of a girl's toy than a boy's toy.
Oh man, those tractors are hot. I love it. Chris had his wife on there, and he was singing to her in one of his videos, and I thought that was the cutest thing. Right on, you just keep that girl going.
All right, let's get this back up here. Okay, real quick, Big Dreams. Cecilia, Heaven's Essentials has joined us. Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, prep setting with Nana Benda, and McCoy's Oak Hill Farm. Just in time prepping is here. Will is another heavy equipment operator. And yeah, Will, just in time prepping.
Oh yeah?
Yep. And How to Garden. Okay, so we got Howie's in here too.
Hey, got Dave from Imagine Acre Wood.
Yep, and Dave's here. And Dave went and dined me out or called me out. I got to do a video tomorrow on my everyday carry objects I carry on me all around the homestead here. All right, so Howie's nailing on us all. First thing right off the bat. No-till soil grows more food than tilled soil. Studies showed, and Charles Downing showing that fantastic production. Shallow till is okay, but not the best. Tractors are awesome for work. Yeah. However, like in my case, I got to do some deep soil tilling because my property has been abused. I mean, it is so dead. Everyone in town was telling me, yeah. They're telling me what I already found out is it needs to have a lot of manure dumped on it, tilled in, broken up, and given a year or two to re-energize before I actually start doing any farming out there.
We actually got in our property, we get on the top half of my property, I can actually use a landscape rake to do tilling. And then at the bottom of my property, I need a tiller. So we cover the gambit between no-till and tiller type soil here in our property. Yeah.
That's interesting, Hank. When you say that, because obviously people are talking about the no-till gardens and back to nature, basic, or back to Eden, whatnot,
yeah.
Garden. And I understand the whole principle there, but don't you have to amend the soil first, like Gil was saying? Don't you got to make sure your soil is good first before you can just let it?
It depends on whether or not the soil's been abused. If you're up there where you're going to be at, Scott, they haven't abused it. It's got natural compost on it for over the years and stuff. It hasn't been cows or horses on it overgrazing it and beating it to death, walking around trying to find something to eat.
And most places that I know of have an extension office that will do soil samples for you, and they'll tell you the answer if you need to do that or not.
So, would you do crop rotation and that kind of thing, Hank?
No, we don't. We're just hobby farmers. So our garden literally is the big garden. There is about 6 or 7, 8 raised beds, and
okay.
But when we are going to till, because we're actually in the process of fixing the place up or whatever, we'll just plant grass and then fence in an area and use that for horses or cattle. But that's a couple of years down the road.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Josh is having to do at Stony Ridge Farmer, because this was a tobacco property. They just got
got
trashed to it. They couldn't grow anything, and then all the trees came in. So he's been having to cut down trees and burn piles and leaving the ash out there and turning the ash in and bringing in all sorts of amendments.
Interesting. So it all depends on what kind of soil you got, what you can and can't do with it.
Yeah.
So once you get it to that state.
But like I agree with Howie. Once you get the deep soil fixed and you get the worms back in there, and you're able to get plenty of compost stuff dumped on it, for the hugelkultur, and do that stuff, and like raised planter beds and everything else like that, then you don't need to till that area. But out here, for like 2.5 acres of my property, or half my property, it's going to take me 2 or 3 years to get it brought back, and then after that, I will probably every spring have them bring in a load of the manure from the dairy farm right up the road here. I may or may not take the 2-bottom plow over it, turn it over, and then use the disc on it, and then just the rake to smooth it out, and then start whatever else I can dump on it during the year. But once I get it fixed up, I'm thinking about possibly just doing planting clover and rotating cover crops like that, and putting a beef cow out there or two.
I got you. Okay.
And that way, I get food.
We had 73 loads of pine trees taken off our property.
Oh my gosh!
I know, dude. But where they had set the processor for when they loaded, when they run it through the processor, cut the tops off, and then they put it on the truck. That place has got pine bark that's been sitting. And we had this was back in 2016.
Wait a minute, talking construction. I better get my right hat on.
Yeah, you need a hard hat with those big heavy equipment. But I mean, I sat out there for hours watching these guys work. But where that pine bark was and stuff up there, that soil now it's all composted, and so that soil up there is just is awesome. And so we're really excited about how that's going to turn out, because all that has now turned into dirt,
Okay, so that's an interesting question. Let me ask you this really quick. On my property, I got a bunch of pine trees in the back, but where I'm planning on doing an orchard and a garden and a wallapini, I have those scrub alders, which grow like 20 foot tall, and they're not very good for firewood. I was considering if either a tractor or a skid steer or whatever I get, or probably just going to rent a big chipper, cut all those things down, and whatever I got, a tractor, skid steer with my grapple, go grab all that stuff and run it through the chipper and just get mounds of alder chips and do pathways with it,
mulch,
and whatever. I mean, and that's all going to decompose and make for great soil, right?
And and that's what I'm trying to remember who was saying it. I think it may have been Anthony at Palmetto Prepared was talking about that, the chips and stuff. If you just leave the chips, you do not turn them into the soil and let them decompose naturally. The I'm trying to remember what the type of acids and stuff he was talking about. Like even if you have like walnuts and stuff, you get certain things that will puts bad stuff in the soil that keeps other stuff from growing. But if it composts naturally, that stuff breaks down before it gets into the soil, and you get just good compost in the soil.
Okay.
He was also talking though about pine needles, getting too many pine needles, even if they do break down, because they break down differently than chips do. You get they're
more acidic, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he said. I wish he was on, but he
sounds right.
Yeah, he was just mentioning on one of the other lives here.
I was going to ask you that, Hank, that you said you had the pine bark, but you didn't have a lot of pine needles, where the bark isn't as acidic as the needles.
Right. And so it's the weirdest thing. Well, because we cleaned up, it's easy to clean up the pine straw, but that pine bark, I mean, that stuff was probably 8-12 inches thick, by the time they get through. I mean, it was a big mess. I mean, we had mounds and mounds of debris left over, and because he's sitting in that same spot for 2 weeks as they cut these trees. But so the pine needles weren't the problem. It was the pine, and really the pine bark is not a problem either. But we didn't have an issue with the needles at all.
Okay.
And the negotiator said something a while ago about the chipper and about leaving it on top as well. So, yeah, man, put those things in a wood chipper, man, you're set.
Right.
Here's his comment. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Okay, back down to the bottom here.
Stuff, man.
Okay.
We haven't even got to tractors yet. What a great time, man.
Yeah, we burned a lot of our stuff too while we were trying to clean up the property, but that takes care of a lot of the needles as well.
Yeah. Now, when you're burning, if you're burning the wood and stuff, trying to remember, you don't want to burn it totally to ash. You want to leave Howie should be popping up with what it is now when you burn the wood partially to a certain way. I know also that Anthony talks about that too, is that it does something good for the soil when you have that partially charred wood.
Really? I didn't know that. What's that, Gina?
Yeah.
Are you talking like potash? Is that what you're talking about?
No, not potash. You take some wood, trees and stuff, and you burn them. You don't burn them all the way to ash. You leave chunks in there. And, like a campfire, the remains in a campfire, and you turn that stuff in, and that stuff is supposed to be really good for the. Oh, there it is. There he's put it. I knew he'd come up with it. Biochar.
Biochar. Yeah. That's Heaven's Essentials. Right on.
That's good to know, because I've got a pile in my yard right now that I've burnt about 3 or 4 days ago. That's probably at that state where I need to do that. And
there's why. The biochar will hold water and nutrients, and when you're using that with hugelkultur and stuff, it's everything that plants need. You hardly ever have to water. You just water a little bit, and it helps hold it in there.
All right, on. That's good to know. Learn something.
Okay. It looks like Chris is having a tough time with his connection tonight.
Yeah. He's got bad reception in that place. He was asking me about the Weeboo system and stuff, and I was talking to him about that. I think it'd really do him some good. I'm gonna need Elon Musk's new Starlink satellite system. I'm waiting for that to come out, honestly. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Okay. Chris says, sorry guys, I don't have the signal out here, so I will be in the chat. Okay. All right, so we'll have to try. Hey, Chris, when you have stuff to contribute, all caps. Okay. That way we'll spot you easier in the side chat, and we can bring up what you want to say. Now, actually, this isn't Farmer. This is the cowboy. Oh crap! I'm going to say it. The shit kicker. You said Elon Musk. I got to put it on. Okay, so guys, let's get over here to. I'm going to get my screen up here. Bring it up here for us. Boom. Okay, let's talk about some tractors. Yeah. Now, I know I got an orange tractor. Hank, you got an orange tractor.
It's red.
You both have
it's red. Hey, all right, it's not green. But my first one was green, and it was about the size of that one that's on there. And if I knew what I knew now, back then I never would have sold it. I still would have gotten another tractor to go with it.
Really? What size was that?
Mine was the 855, I think it was, or 655. It's about the same. I think it was a 28 horsepower.
728, yeah.
And the one I had the box on the back. I had the brush hog. I had the post hole digger. So yes, so like the postal digger would be great for planting trees around here. And there's a hole big enough for a 1 gallon bucket to go in. But Hank, what's your opinion of John Deere?
Let me tell you why I don't like John Deere.
Okay.
I don't like John Deere because of all their proprietary equipment. So you just can't go out and buy different type of quick attachments because it doesn't fit. You have to buy an adapter to make it fit.
Right.
And they're very proud of their stuff. You got to take out a second mortgage to get their stuff. Yeah. They are quality. They're a quality machine. There's no doubt about that. But I just don't like. I compare them to Apple. They're the Apple of the tractor world. Everything's proprietary, where you can't just keep adding on stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Mine was good, heavy duty, hardworking, and I took it in some ugly places I should never have taken it, and it worked fine.
Yeah, they're solid. There's no doubt about it. They're well built, solid machine. 60 horsepower and less is built overseas. A lot of people think they're American made, but under 60 horsepower, they're built in India or France or wherever. But the 60 the bigger horsepowers are built in the USA. Yeah.
Of course, mine when I had mine was my daughter was born in 92, so I got mine in 90. So it may still have been built in the U.S. at that time.
What size tractors do you guys both have that you use?
All right, Hank, you go ahead first.
So mine's a 4540. It's a 41 horsepower, but it's really built. It's really a 40 horsepower engine and a 60 horsepower tractor chassis. When Mahindra built theirs, my tractor weighs in with I don't have when I bought it without loaded tires, it was at 5,500 pounds. And once you add the weight of the tires, I loaded all 4 tires when I bought them. That's another couple thousand pounds, or 1,500, 2,000 pounds, something like that. Okay. So, I got a 7,000 pound tractor, a 40 horsepower, 7,000 pound tractor.
Okay.
Yeah. What I have is I have the, actually what I have, hang on a second here. Come on, work. Is that little one there. That's the 24 horsepower Coyote.
Yeah.
The backhoe attachment comes off, and I can put the drag box and stuff back on it. The seat flips around for the backhoe, and it's got the folding ROPS on it. It's like I say, it's 24 horsepower. The problem is that I found here with the in early spring, when everything's still muddy from all the work I did the year before, it likes to sink. Yeah, and because the tires are so small on it, compared to that John Deere, this is like I said, this is this is the next size, full next size down tractor compared to the John Deere I had, and when the ground's solid, this thing's a go-getter. For a little one, I've worked the snot out of mine, but
hey Gil, let me ask you a question. Are those is that backhoe a subframe mounted backhoe?
It is. There's a framework under it. It's not 3-point hitch, because I have to take the 3-point hitch arms off.
Gotcha.
And it's built onto the main frame. Is a pin lock on it. So basically, it sets up, locks in, and the thing's locked down, and the bottom pins go in. And it's on there, heavy duty, strong. I've run that just like I would a big John Deere 710 or 510 backhoe, where I picked it, put the front bucket down, lifted the front end off the ground, then I've taken the bucket and I've picked it, put it on the ground, picked up, and moved my tractor sideways.
That's right. Yeah.
When I was over, especially when I was straddling the ditch on my one video, I was because had to straddle the ditch to put the 2 ditches together, and I'm moving across it just like I did with a big construction back, and it worked just fine.
Yeah.
But and that's what I've seen. So I'm going to drop a little bombshell on everybody out here. Those of you who haven't seen it, there is a video out by Tractor Mike. He put it out today, talking about the 2 new tractors that are hitting the market. The one is a Bobcat tractor, similar to this. So similar, in fact, the parts are made by the same company, but the design is Bobcats. and their goal is in 5 years to be making them in the U.S. But right now, their prices are probably cheaper than the Coyote, but it's made by the same people.
So I saw a question up here about Yanmars. Sand Hollow asked about Yanmars. The thing I like about Yanmar tractors is Yanmar has their fingers in everything. And so I think Yanmar is a great tractor. I just think that evidently they don't have a marketing team that's doing a very good job, because if you look at a bunch of other manufacturers, they put Yanmar diesels in a lot of them.
Right.
Same, so Yanmar's good tractors.
Yeah, Yanmar has their tractors, and then they're partnering with Cub Cadet. They're making the bigger tractor for Cub Cadet. This says Cub Cadet Yanmar on this one.
Interesting.
And then they also have, where was the other one here? I know I had another one on here that had Yanmar on it. That was scrolling here. Oh, here's one. They got a total track one here. And then there was another one, another yellow one in here. I think I saved it in here. Yanmar. Yeah. So they're around. Dropping back real quick to the John Deere. A lot of people don't like their quick disconnect because it doesn't match the Bobcat. Excuse me. Ooh, so I was going to have a big sneeze there. Because it doesn't match with the skid loaders. And the skid loaders have kind of, have made it all on an open source, interchangeable, sort of like Unix. Anybody can work on it, off of it. But like Mike at Tractor Mike said, the John Deere Quick to Connect is a lot easier to work. And
that's what, we either love them or hate them from what they say.
Yeah, because he says it's designed to be operated from back on a tractor, whereas skid one was designed to be right there on top of it. And when you're on a tractor back there, it takes a lot of getting used to how to hook that up for the quick disconnect. But once you learn it, you learn it.
Mm.
So that's one thing to consider with whatever you go is, there's going to be a learning curve with the quick disconnect of the skid steer quick disconnect on tractors. Okay.
Tim had a question about the rear hydraulics, the rear remotes on the Coyotes. I think some models are probably standard. Other ones are dealer options. But really it depends on what are you wanting to put behind it, if you need them or not. I've always said, man, I'd love to have some rear remotes on the back of my tractor, but I ain't got nothing that's hydraulic on the back. So, I mean, they literally would just sit there. So,
hey, Anthony from Meadow Prepared just came in the house here. Going back up here. I know there was the option, but it's not on the small tractor like I have, the two small, the 21 and the 24 horsepower. Yeah. You got to get up into like the 39 horsepower and above to get the not too many remotes, hydraulic remotes, because the small hydraulic pumps on the small ones, because my hydraulics is tied into my hydrostatic.
That's right, of course.
And so on the bigger ones, they have bigger pumps to handle that.
Which tractors and what sizes do they have dual pumps?
Well, I think technically all of them have dual pumps, but I think Branson really kind of markets that well, like a big selling point. Like, hey, look at us, we got dual pumps, and where they'll run the steering and transmission versus the outflow for your attachments and stuff. But yeah, I think, and Gil probably knows more about this than I do, but I think pretty much all of them have some type of dual element where it might be a single pump, but it's maybe dual element type deal. I'm not too familiar.
I would love to have Mike in here to answer that one, because he talked about that on one of his videos.
Somebody just put a video out about that, talking about that you had to kind of get off the it might have been from one of the older dozers, might have been Squatch. Who was it? Talking about that when you wanted to go lift up. It was a skid steer video, and it was too small. You had to let off the accelerator to. Oh no, I know who it was. It was Stanley Dirt Monkey. Sorry, guys. He's rating all these different skid steers and stuff about doing his new snow blowing and stuff. And he in order to lift the bucket up, you had to let off the accelerator. You had to like kind of give it accelerate and get off and to lift up the bucket. So he was trying to go with a bigger tractor because the pump couldn't handle both. So that's something I have to consider as well. Is I got to have a tractor big enough.
And
I don't
that's
want to drum it. I need to 3-drum, 4-drum. I need to be doing all things at the same time. I mean. I can't go from operating a crane and doing that to doing one thing at a time. I'm gonna pull my hair out.
That's what Mike was saying, is that on the bigger tractors, they have they'll have the bigger hydraulics and separate hydraulics. And if you have like the shuttle shift, it works a little bit better for it than having it integrated on the hydrostatic for that. But you can get the tractors with bigger pumps on them, the option of ordering the bigger pumps, but that's you got to pay a little bit more for it. But it's a
bigger tractor.
Yeah, well, I mean, still, but yeah, even with a bigger tractor, you can then if you'll find, I should have got a bigger pump on this one now. That's one of the things. You always, the grass is always greener when you got you got the bigger pumps,
right?
But whatever you're doing is you before you get a tractor, look at all the options you might do. That's the thing you got to consider. All right, am I going to need to have? Am I going to get that snow blower on the front, the quick disconnect snow blower that runs that runs off of hydraulics, or am I getting that the total hydraulic controlled brakes and everything in the back that I'm gonna have to run on it?
Something
talk to the dealer good about it, and that's the only thing is I say, no matter what we tell you here, like Mike says, your biggest choice in your equipment is going to be the dealer that services it. If you have a dealer that can service it, that's the one you're probably going to need to go with.
Absolutely. So that made me, something I didn't factor in when I bought my tractor was I was looking at all these capacities and stuff. And so my lift capacity on my 3-point lift hitch is like 3,700 pounds or over 3,000 pounds. And then, but my loader capacity is like 2,500 pounds, something like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. I got all this lift power in the back. Well, the more I use my tractor, the more I wish those numbers were reversed. I need more lift capacity in the front because the only implement I've got that, the heaviest implement I got is probably 800 pounds. And so, and I've got, and living in Florida, everything's flat and I don't have to worry about the terrain. And so I don't need 3,000 pounds in the back to lift up something. I need 3,000 pounds in the front. And so I really, if you look at Coyote usually has more lifting power in the front than the rear, which I think is I like that, to be honest with you.
That's interesting. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier is you have to determine what you need to do. What are your plans? What are your tasks that you're going to need to do with your tractor in order to help determine what tractor you're going to buy or what size you're going to buy?
Exactly. And it's when we got our Coyote for here, we didn't get the absolute smallest one. We got the next one up because it had the quick disconnect backhoe on it, and it was on sale. And my wife was asking me when we were getting it, are you sure you're not going to need a bigger one? You're not going to need a bigger one. At the time, I said, no, I was trying to please her. And if if I realized now, because I figure I was to be able to handle everything. And if I realized now, if I knew then what I realized now, I probably would have gone with a 35 horsepower.
Yeah.
And with the backhoe attachment on it, and I would be able to do a lot more than I can now. But I've just about got the place fixed up. So in another year or two, I'm not going to need the big one. The only time I would need a 35 horsepower or larger is when I want to borrow Curtis's 2-bottom plow from across the street and plow the 2 acres and just, turn it over. But like I did this last time, I paid his kid, $100 to go out there and turn it over twice and run the disc over it twice. So, yeah.
So in determining the size of a tractor, you got to determine your needs. As I was stating before, I plan on doing tractor service outside of my homestead, but I got a ton of stuff. I have about a half a mile of road that I need to grade. It's a dirt road that's got some big mud holes in it. It needs to be graded and drained with drainage put in. I need to have a backhoe. And then at some point, I got to put the roadbed cloth down and put some rock on it, and then gravel it. That way, my wife can get to work and in and out. And then in the wintertime, I've got 2 to 3 feet of snow to plow or to blow at any one time. So McCoy Mills just had an excellent statement there. But budget will determine the tractor one will be buying. So Chris and I at Holly Ridge Homestead, when we were talking in our conversations last weekend, he was talking about the warranty. Basically, you're going to buy the tractor from whatever dealer is closest to you. So I understand that point in that whoever is closest to you is going to be who's going to be servicing your tractor if for whatever stuff that you can't do yourself. I'm pretty mechanically minded, so I'm going to do a lot of it myself anyway. But so I understand that point. However, where I live, I've got 3 different cities around me, and I have everything available. So everything is within an hour of me. So that point's out the window. It doesn't matter to me which one I buy. So now it's down to budget and what do I need? Yeah. So I'm looking at a skid steer because of the speed. I know tractors are not as fast as a skid steer. I'm looking at a track steer, by the way. Yeah. Well, they'd be spending more money for that, but it's going to be more. They can get smaller places. They have better lift capacity, all of that stuff. So those are the points that Chris was saying. But I'm going to probably have about 20 grand to dump. I was looking at used Kubotas, honestly. But then Hank's got me all thinking about, well, maybe a Mahindra might be then, and then you, Gil, are telling me, well, the Coyotes are a pretty good deal. I'm like,
right now, Scott, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Look at those new Bobcats.
Oh, well, I did. I saw that. Thanks to you, Hank. Darn you.
Yeah. I mean, those new Bobcats look absolutely, especially with the information that Mike was saying about them, they're for the first couple of years, they're going to be underpricing them to get them out there in the market.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Hank, how much was the cab version?
We didn't talk about prices, but I would assume that the 58 horsepower is probably 38 grand, probably 33 to 38 grand, somewhere around in there.
A 58 horsepower for 33 grand?
I would think so. Somewhere around in there.
Like I said, it's looking good, isn't it?
Wow, it's looking awesome because the Kubota is going to be 55 to 60.
Oh yeah, they're yeah. So if you talking about what you want to do at your property, I think you would be better off with a tractor just for what you described. Obviously, you're going to be doing more than what you just described because you want to do it for income off the side or whatever. But because you could use a backhoe and a land plane on your property on that gravel road, you're going to need to buy a land plane, and so that's really going to help that maintain that road. So that's because if you take a skid steer, the only thing you're going to do is you're going to back drag it with your bucket, Right. Yeah. So
and in construction, that's one of the problems we noticed with the skid steers. They're good for dropping down in the pit and blah, 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 but once they start getting going off level, it's hard for them to level up again. Whereas if you have like a backhoe on it, digging around a building, whatever, you're trying to get the dirt level. Hey, you can tilt that backhoe every which way you want and level with a backhoe
Yeah.
I can do amazing things. My brother could even do more amazing things than I could on a backhoe. And a backhoe is on a track. When I say backhoe, I'm talking about not the excavator. I'm talking rubber tired backhoe. You can do a lot of stuff that a skid steer can't. But with the new Bobcat one, it sounds like they're all coming with the quick disconnect on it, because they want you to be able to use all of their attachments, their skid steer attachments.
Yeah.
Huh?
Even the rear backhoe is going to be a quick disconnect.
It'll be a different type. It'll be probably, you have to basically.
I think it's as well.
If it's since it's being built by the same company that builds Coyote, I have a feeling it's going to work pretty much the same way. It has the underframe on it. You flip up a couple things, you lift it off, you pull the tractor forward about a foot, you disconnect the hoses, and then you clip back on your lower arms for your 3-point hitch, and you go.
So the frame undercarriage stays on the tractor. I like that.
That's what I like about mine. It's I disconnect the 2 arms, I pull 4 pins, the 2 arms come off, and I just back up to my backhoe, hook up the hoses, adjust it, back under it, drop it in, tilt it, lock it, and I'm gone.
Huh. And that was a cab model with heat. I really want a cab model, even though I'm going to be in a lot of trees a lot of times. But for the summer, for the winter time,
Scott,
yes, hey, you need a cab.
You guys know GP Outdoors? You know that channel?
Oh yeah, the Canadian. Hey, good day, mate.
The Canadian guy. Hey, cheers.
Canadian guy. Gordon.
He's out there in freaking 20 below on his little BX, man. So you know what? I can't cry when I see guys like that up there doing it. So, but I would like a cab.
I tell you, I've been out there in the rain and snow blowing on my little Coyote, and in the summertime, the dust.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate eating dust.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you want a cab for sure.
Hey, Chris, I know you're listening. These guys are getting me all riled up about a tractor again. I may not buy a skid steer. I don't know. But how easy is it going to be to load up that tractor to go do work for other guys, for people?
It's great. I can actually load my Coyote without ramps, and I can do it fast, because what I do is I put the bucket down.
Yeah.
So it's smooth and tip up just a little bit. And I drive forward, lift up my front wheels, get my front wheels on, drive up till my back wheels are about there. I reach around, I push down with backhoe, and I just lift it just a little bit as I drive right up on the track onto it.
Yeah, I could probably do the same thing, but my trailer, I have a gooseneck 3-axle dump trailer that's probably about 3 feet off the ground. I could still do it, but it'd be better just to have ramps. But
is it a deck over?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I school trailer too.
Okay, you ready for this, Scott? I'm bringing it up here.
Bring it.
Okay, guys. Okay, so they have 15 new models of the tractor here, and let me go back one page real quick here. And it says,
just tell me a skid steer will make more money.
21 to 58 horsepower. Okay. And 21 to 58 horsepower covers, you're definitely going to be in that range. But they got the full range of them. They got the grass rake on the back of this one, quick disconnect on it. But yeah, they got there's your backhoe attachment. And it says the Bobcat 4500 platform compact tractors. That's what the backhoe is on. So you can go with the bigger ones, you can get a bigger backhoe. But there's a lot of stuff. See, there's your cabs, and they got the rotavator on it. They got the rake on it. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on these new. And here's your platforms right here. The 1000 is 21 to 25 horsepower. The 2000 platform is 25 to 40. The 4000 is 45 to 58. and the 5,000 is also the 5,000. I guess is a
The cab model.
the cab model there on that one, but there's a cab on the 2,000 as well.
Well, the horsepower, the 45 to 58.
58. Yes, so they split the 45, 58 horsepower from cab or cabless.
Hey, they got all the tier 4 particulate filters and all that crap on there, or were they able to build it like a Mahindra?
No, they'll have a DPF on them.
That's the other thing. I was trying to get away from that. Pre 2013 as a pre tier 4 stuff. I was looking for a good used Kubota or a good used Coyote, or thank you, honey.
Yeah.
To avoid having to buy something with the DPF crap.
But from what I understand, that everything that's probably the 19 and 20 models from most manufacturers, and Gil may know more about this than I do, but from what I understand is like the regen is, I want to say it's like a passive regen where basically you don't even know it's regenning while you're working. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't actually have to stop working and it will regen while you're still working.
Right. No, I understand all that. The problem is when they go down, I've heard the horror stories. Yeah. They're expensive to have fixed and worked on. It's not something I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Mahindra doesn't have all that crap, right? And either does a Coyote. Correct. The Coyotes don't either, right, Gil?
Mine doesn't, but I'm not sure if the bigger ones do or not.
Well,
yeah,
what
that's 25 horsepower.
Oh, right. Yeah, anything below 25 doesn't need it anyway. What you have a bigger tractor, right, Hank?
Yeah, mine's what they call the common rail, the Mahindra common rail diesel, and so it's engineered and the technology is such that it burns the particulates, but while it's still inside the engine, I guess.
Right. See, everybody's agreeing with me. That's why everybody wants to go with an older tractor to get away from the DPF garbage.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It was a big factor for me too.
Hey, Chris just said that those Bobcat tractors have been out 7 to 8 years. They just didn't take off down there in Louisiana.
Yeah,
this is their second foray. It may even be their third, but I know for sure.
They've tried it before. Why didn't they take off?
So, from the guy was telling me up in Louisville, he said that the reason was that they didn't have a dedicated compact tractor section inside of Bobcat. So at Daedong, and they partnered with Coyote the first time as well, and so the construction, the CE, the construction equipment people ran the compact tractor side of the house. And so they're like treating everything like mini excavators and skid steers and all that, where this time when they come into it, now they have a dedicated compact tractor product manager, marketing, engineering, blah, 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 so it's going to be a lot better. A separate entity. Yeah.
Yeah. Before they were treated like redheaded stepchildren. All right. So you want an older tractor, Scott? Dave and I can both tell you, about how great the Ford 9N and 8N are. Yeah, that's my other tractor. I have a 9N tractor.
Yeah, but I get a little bit of a hill on my road. I gotta have a 4-wheel drive. I got snow and ice every year. I just gotta have 4-wheel drive.
I noticed Dave getting stuck a little bit, but heck, out here I got stuck with my 9N because I didn't have the chains. If I'd had the chains, I would have gotten a lot more plowing done than but my tires just started slipping on that ice. It wouldn't bite.
So that's the plan, is to have a front blower on my front with a quick disconnect front blower on my front end loader. And if I can get a tractor that's big enough with the hydraulics that do have enough gallons per minute, the flow rate, then I can have one that's hydraulically driven and save about half the cost. Otherwise, I have to buy an independently powered front blower, quick attach, and they're $6,000. And then have a scraper blade behind it. I don't know how many videos I've seen with guys with the snow. When you've got that scraper blade behind you and a front blower, man, you can tear it up.
Scott, I just had a thought problem in my brain. I should have thought about this before with you. we had, when I was working construction, we had a PTO on one of the tractors we had that had multiple things on it and stuff. We got a big hydraulic pump, high volume pump, and put it on that PTO, and we ran it up front for a broom.
Right. Yep. Those are available. That's you
I mean,
can spend a little bit of money, but yeah.
Yeah, well, with that hydraulic pump on the back, you can put other attachments on there. You got a lot of power on there, or a lot of volume to run a snowblower, a street broom, and stuff like that.
Hey Scott, do you watch a Ritter Bit Will Do?
A who?
A Ritter Bit Will Do. RITTE. So he's got a little Kubota, a little BX, and then he does snow blowing with the blade on the back. You'll probably get a kick out of some of his videos. His name's John Ritter. How funny is that? But
and it's called A Ritter Bit Will Do.
Yeah. Check his channel out. He's got I think he's got like a 50. He's either got a 55 or 60 horsepower Kubota too that he works in the summer. But all his winter videos will be front snow blowing and rear blade stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy GP Outdoors has that. He has the main. He's got the same BX with the undercarriage, and it's a mid PTO driven front blower with a rear blade. And it works really good.
And he's got looks like he's got a Kubota RX25.
A Ritter Bit.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
That's a good. Oh, there he goes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you.
There he is blowing right there. Let me scroll down a little bit. He's got a couple blowers videos on there.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely go check those out. So that's why I've seen these guys with the front blowers, and it just says Cecilia Jansen asked if we always need chains. It depends if you've got a little bit of a hill, and I know that guy GP's got a little bit of a hill on his long driveway, and he'll do rear chains and do it just fine. But that's what I'm anticipating. But definitely a 4-wheel drive. But the guys that have the front blower, now I've seen this on a few John Deeres. The first time I saw it was a John Deere, a rear 3-point mount blower, but it was a forward facing, so they call it a pull forward or a pull. You guys have probably heard of that.
Yeah.
A blower, but you pull it and it still faces forward. That way you don't have to run the tractor and back, in reverse and put a crick in your neck.
Yeah. The only problem with that is where you're driving.
Or you drive and you pack it down. Exactly.
You could pack it down, but if you got chains on there, it will break it up. Y'all
are losing me with all this snow blowing talk.
All right, now Scott, really quick here, something before I forget it. We're talking about the tractor there and stuff, because I'm looking over here at Little Bit'll Do. So he's got the blower on it, and then he's also got your rotavator. So rotavating is something you're going to want to do. Possibly a rotavator or a flail mower is something you may want to have, or even especially a brush hog. You're probably going to want a brush hog up there.
I get that.
So, to get a brush hog and a rotavator on the wrong button on the skid steer. So let me throw this up here for you. So here's a we saw this one earlier.
Yeah.
And let me find the other ones here where I was looking at it.
Nice.
So there's the Bobcat with the blower on it. But I'm looking for the skid steer. Hang on, that had the.
Okay, no, that's going to be a frame mount blower.
That's a small one. That's too small for you. That's the 21 horsepower.
Right.
Let me find the skid steer. Nope, not that one. That's got the clamshell bucket on it.
Hold that thought right there, Hank. On that Bobcat, you were looking at that 55 horsepower Bobcat. That one, because it was big enough, automatically came with rear remotes as well as an extra front remotes for a front grapple or a four-way bucket, right?
I don't know if it came standard with the front, but it did come standard with the back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, because I don't know. I just don't know the answer to that question if it came, because that's a lot of times that's a dealer option. the third function on the front is the dealer option a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. So here you see this is a rotavator on the front of a
Right, track steer. Yeah.
Now, Daniel at
Arms Family.
Arms Family had one of the
Lane sharks.
was that a Kubota he had? Skid steer Kubota that had that massive monster eat trees and spit out sawdust brush
like a
cutter
head
on the front.
Was it
like a mulcher head?
Yeah. No, it was a and it went through,
they call it.
and it just he was cutting down small trees and stuff with it, and it had the it was similar to that other one. I think that the guy you interviewed, Hank, was that you interviewed the guy that was doing it on his own? Was talking about yeah.
That's it.
It was similar to that, but it was a little bit different. But yeah, so there are options to do your brush hogging and your stuff, and basically it was a super brush hog is what it was.
Right.
It was cutting down small orange trees.
Yeah, we talked about that. A forestry head versus a mulcher versus a cultivator kind of thing, and that was something we also talked about, was determining what my market's going to be up there for when I do that service for people. I'm going to be up in a lot of forestry land, and if I land an account doing forestry clearing, I'm going to want to have a track steer with that one right there. Well, not exactly that one. That's more of a brush hog that you got right there.
Yeah. But the one he had,
you can actually cut down. I watched somebody on YouTube this last week that actually they tried it out. It was rated for 12-inch trees, and they just for the heck of it tried to cut down the biggest tree they could, and they cut down a 30-inch tree. It's a little scary when you're sitting there in a skid steer.
Yeah.
So those are definitely things, but those things are like 30 grand just for the forestry one.
The head. Yeah. So
all right.
we priced
check out really quick, Scott. Mike did 2 videos with the front attachment for cutting. It has the two different type cutters for cutting stuff on his channel here in the last couple months. So Tractor Mike had two of them on that would work on the. I'm not sure, they might work on both the skid steer and a regular tractor.
As long as you've got enough flow in your front hydraulics to run it, yeah. But you've got to have a high flow skid steer, and you've got to have enough flow in the hydraulics on your tractor to run one of those. But you could, but they're a little heavy though.
Yeah. So when you're looking at a mulching head or a drum, a mulcher, forestry mulcher, and to get the kit that goes onto the skid steer itself, I mean, a brand new setup like that's $125,000.
Oh my gosh, including the skid steer?
Yeah, including the skid steer.
Well, the skid steer is brand new, or 70 grand.
Kathy's comment there. Use forestry tractors.
Look at the Mod Queen killing it again tonight.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Look, I think she's going to be replacing Anna from Mimsy's Garden here pretty soon.
She's good too.
Did I just say that? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope Anna's not watching.
All right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I wish I could. So there's something to check out too, guys. Check out anyone looking at new tractors and stuff. Check out Tractor Mike. He has a lot of good information. He's been getting a lot of these really cool attachments that Scott's going to need up there. And I know, Hank, you had a couple of real good neat ones there on your place too, being tested out with on the back of that Coyote and the stump grinder and stuff.
Yep.
So there's a lot of other really cool different things. Now that stump grinder, that was only a 3-point hitch attachment, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, they don't make that for a skid steer, do they?
I'm sure they make some type of variant for it.
Yeah, skid steers got all kinds of stump stuff. I mean, one of those forestry mulchers, will take the stumps down to the ground level. Yeah. Pretty cool ones on YouTube that you don't have to spend 30 grand for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna need I mean, obviously, I got to have a tractor. I've got the main thing. So Hank, you're talking about all this snow blowing talk. I got a Cali girl. she's same thing you're saying. Snow.
Yeah.
We love skiing and all that kind of stuff. But I've got to keep that road clear so she can get in and out. So I have to blow it there. So
all right. So here's a couple different type.
There's that diamond mower. Yeah.
And this one looks more like a real. I'm sorry. This is a butt ugly grinder, like a rotavator grinder on it to take anything down. It's got the push bar up here to push the tree over as it chews through it. This one here is like the one that Hank was interviewing the other day, and it's got the push bar up above it. So yeah, there's a lot of these are on skid steers. So
look what Chris just put up there, Gil.
The I paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 99. So $100,000.
Okay, so check this out. We talk price here. I'm looking at good used Kubotas, 40 horsepower Kubotas. I mean, whatever. Even I could probably get a cheaper one, Coyote or whatever. Anyway,
Kubota's a good tractor.
Any of them, any of the good, 40 horsepower, 50 horsepower range tractors, they're in for a good used one, 25 grand approximately. I'm looking at good used Bobcat track steers, and they're 30 to 35,000. Mm-hmm. Chris was saying try and get one that's under 500 hours. The ones I was seeing in the 35,000 range were around 2,000 hours.
So a couple things to consider. Were they in a rental fleet, and what were they doing? Because these dudes beat the mess out of those skid steers.
Right.
And if they're not from a company that's known for maintaining those skid steers, some companies will adhere to the maintenance schedules and adhere to the intervals and all that stuff. But man, you get in the rental fleet stuff, nah, you can forget that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The construction company I worked for, we wound up computerizing our
start buttons.
Our maintenance stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so the fuel truck drivers would come in, and every Friday we would write down when I was on the fuel truck, we'd write down all the hours on the equipment, and we come in and we'd enter that in because found out it was being different than what they were reporting on the from what the foreman was just we used it 40 hours today, and this week we only used it 20, or they said they used it 30 hours and they actually used it 60 hours. And so we started doing that to make sure that our maintenance was spot on, because the owner got so when they burned up an engine out there on a 235 excavator.
Well, one advantage I have being a heavy equipment operator is I do know what to look for. If I can see grease pouring out of all the joints, I know they did their maintenance. If I see dried, caked on stuff, and I can see, and I can shake the arms and they're shaking, I know I know what I'm looking for on that. That's one advantage I have. But I just got to make the best choice for my money. I may decide to put down a big chunk of money I was going to spend on my tractor and maybe finance the rest for my business. I'm sure my wife sitting behind me didn't want to hear that, but if it gives me a better tractor that's going to last me longer, give me more power, and I can use that for tractor service, it'll be a write-off anyway. So taking a little bit of that financing on, especially if I get a 0% or something really low.
Yeah. We got on our Coyote, we got a really low rate because we got the backhoe, we got the loader attachment, we got the drag box, we got a bunch of stuff, and they every time they kept knocking out. Well, you do this, we'll knock it down another percentage point. You get this, we'll knock it down another percent. So we got a bunch of stuff on ours.
Right.
So when you're buying, I'm sorry.
What'd you pay for your? You said you have a 55 horsepower John Deere, right?
No, it's a 4540, which is a 41 horsepower.
Okay.
I got that, the bucket, a grapple, the box blade, and I think that was it. But I think it was 26 grand out the door.
Brand new.
Brand new. Yeah.
Oh man, see, yeah, when I hear those kinds of prices with all of those implements, I'm like,
I got a grapple bucket and a box blade. I think it was. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
And that's something you're going to want to get no matter what, Scott, up there. Is you're going to want to get a grapple bucket, a double grapple, not just one in the middle. You want the one with, either everything, you can independently or you do it all at once.
that's one more hydraulic line though.
It's sort of like a button control up there or something. Someone was telling me. So you leave it in one position, they both go. And if you catch part of it and you need the other one to come down more, you hit the button and you'll just tighten the other one down.
Solenoid, okay,
it's like a little diverter valve.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, that's cool.
WR Long makes them, I think. But yeah, but what I was going to tell you earlier, Scott, was the thing you have to know about those, or some things you have to look at. And Chris is more smart on this than I am, but the undercarriage, you want to make sure that the spindles and all that especially the tracks, or the sprockets are good to go, so the tracks don't come off of them often. And those ASVs make a different type of sprocket. They have than the Bobcats and the Cat. They all make a different little. I like the Cat skid steers out of all of them, but the ASVs have a track system. And their sprocket, you can see that the top sprocket there.
Yeah.
I like that design. I wish Cat had that design, but I like the Cat skid steer overall.
Right. Chris does too. His favorite's the Cat as well. He told me what the ASV is all about. If I was going to do a lot of forestry stuff, the ASV, because I watched the whole thing from Dirt Monkey on the ASV, and because all he does is snow blowing in the wintertime. He wanted the clearance of the ASV. It had 15 inches of clearance underneath there. And because of that track system, it was way easier to change tracks, because he goes through tracks really fast. He goes, but if you're going to be doing anything else besides forestry or blowing snow, the ASV is not going to be the machine that you want. So Chris and I talked about that machine too, because I was all impressed with that too. But looks like a pretty neat system, a lot more of a comfortable ride. Of course, you guys all watch Capper, right?
Oh, Capper Outdoors. He just got a Bobcat, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got the new T650, brand spanking new, $75,000 thing. He bought it for comfort. I don't know what that guy does to make money, but man, he should have got some.
He's a big YouTuber, man.
Well, apparently, I mean, a retired sheriff or whatever he was, and gosh, he bought it on a pension. Good grief.
He retired Marine too, I think.
Yeah. I started my whole antenna thing build because of his antenna build. Just little tangent there. Yeah, so Chris told me about that ASV. That seemed like a pretty good. There's an ASV dealer right there in Spokane, really close to our place too. So I got them all lined out. I just need to get some cash in my pocket and go shopping, I guess.
Yeah. Once you get out of California, you'll have more of it.
Oh gosh. Oh, I meant to say that earlier. I have a friend. I don't know if he's still in the chat tonight, but another crane operator friend of mine just moved from Central California. Just moved into his place up there in northern Idaho next to us. And started working at a crane company up there. I won't say who it is, but we've been talking to, and it's amazing how many people are getting the heck out of the state. I mean, all around, and going to Idaho of all places. So,
yeah,
good stuff.
Hey, listen, it's past my bedtime, fellas.
Yep. All righty, thank you for coming in here, and we're going to continue on for a little bit longer here without you, but yeah, we appreciate you made the effort coming in here late for you.
Thank you so much.
Big good, man. Appreciate all y'all.
All right, so everybody, if you haven't subscribed, go over to Hamiltonville Farm at some point. Open up multiple windows and subscribe.
There you go. All right, you guys take care.
Thank you, Hank. Have a great night. God bless, man.
All right, take it easy. Okay, so what he's talking about, the cats here. I'm trying to get this to go up big, but I can't get it much bigger than that. There's your single sprocket and stuff. If he'd like to have that other type sprocket on there, but the right carriage on this, is absolutely great on it. Here's one of the older versions before they raised it up high. More like but then they
almost like a dozer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what and then they started going to these nice multiple wheel.
Look what Chris just put in there. Cat makes both. He just said that the steel holds up longer. That's interesting to know. Okay, that's
the steel on the tracks. You mean rubber? Yeah, they make both. And in fact, there was someone put out a video about a month ago. They were changing the rubber tracks on their skid steer, and they were having a little bit of a problem. But yeah, they make the steel ones and the big rubber ones, and the rubber ones come in different size feet on them too. And I bet the steel ones do as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to go with a little bit of a wider track. Hey, can I give a quick shout out really quick, Gil?
Sure.
We have a new channel in the chat tonight. He's a friend of mine that I have met, and Burning Hearth Homestead. I know that nobody subscribed to his channel. There's only a few people that are subscribed to his channel. He is a new homesteader, and that's all I'm gonna say. Except everybody, as much as we possibly can. On my live channel, I'm gonna shout him out on Sunday again. His name is Joey. Great channel, up and coming, is just like Chris. Anyway, great channel. There's so much I want to say, but I'm not gonna. So guys, just go check out Joey at Burning Hearth Homestead and stay tuned for some awesome content coming out.
All right, Kathy just threw up his link there.
Yes.
So
I wanted to say that earlier. Sorry, Joey. I meant to say that earlier, and we just got sidetracked on the tractor thing.
Well, okay. Well, you did that one. I'm gonna make a little diversion here.
Okay.
So I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So guys, for the grand prize and the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, there's still opportunity for you guys to overtake the first place guys. They're not that far out there. For the grand prize, you got to do a shout out video and let me know you did the shout out video so I can watch it. There are 10 place prizes for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. What you need to do is get somebody through your shout out video. You need to get 3 people. Or no, you need to get anybody to watch 3 videos. The more that watch the video, the more people you have to come subscribe to my channel, the higher up you get towards the first place. The first place prize, there's a rifle scope, cleaning kits. There's a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of stuff in these giveaways. It's not just one prize for each of the 10 places. There's probably like 56 prizes or something spread out over those 10 places. So, yeah, there's still a lot going on it. Also, tomorrow night at midnight, tomorrow night at 11:59 Pacific time, my watch hour contest goes away. And so far, there's only one person that has watched all my videos. And that's that, well, I'm not sure if he wants me to shout him out on it, but he was in the beginning of the chat here today. So, yeah, he watched all my videos, and he picked them all up. So, yeah. But the second place, let me pull this down so I don't give away stuff. So I just give away names so I can bring up the information here for me. Yeah, so we have one person has watched all 184 videos. The next place person has watched 85. The one below that has watched 83. And that person is in the chat tonight. The next person's watched 74. She's in the chat as well. Then the next one has watched 30 of my videos, and I don't know if I've seen her in the chat tonight. And then it goes down to 17, and so yeah. So there are three place prizes for the watch hour. So you got basically 27 hours and 44 minutes. And so, yeah, the first place prize in that is worth $250. It's a Gerber 20th anniversary Mark II Special Fighting Forces knife, and you can check that out. Check that out on a lot of the websites, and it ranges anywhere from $250 up to $350. but I'm only counting it as a 250 because that box has been opened. I've just looked at it, but I never used it on anything. So that's my little stuff going on there. And if you in the description are the links to all the giveaways.
Do my shout outs to your channel during my live streams count?
Well, this one's going to count because you're in here for the whole thing.
Yeah, but I'm here for selfish reasons.
Yeah, I know you want more information for what sort of tractor to get. And I got to, yeah.
Chris there at Holly Ridge was just an amazing wealth of information, man. I mean, that guy, he's been through it. He did what I want to do. So, I mean, we'll keep talking on the side, and I would just tell him I'm waffling between it. I want both. I want a tractor and a skid steer, but the one main point that he kind of repeated over and over was that you'll make more money with a skid steer. They're just faster. Get into smaller areas, going from point A to point B, especially when you get a 2-speed going. You can get around faster with one of those than you can. They're just quicker and more maneuverable for sure. So I probably am gonna go for a skid steer, even though I would really love to have a front blower with a rear blade for my road to maintain it. But I'm probably gonna end up just renting a dozer to get my road into shape. And then once it's into shape, then I can maintain it with a skid steer.
Yeah.
Or at some point buy a tractor down the road. But I kind of think unless I can get a really good smoking deal on a 40 or 50 horsepower tractor with a backhoe and a cab on it, because I got a lot of work for a backhoe as well, but I don't want to have to go down and rent a Mini X every time I need some backhoe work.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why my wife was telling me, "Oh, just rent a backhoe." And when she saw how much I was using the backhoe attachment on my Coyote, it's like what I've saved in rental is already paid for.
Exactly. Now, weren't you talking about getting a bigger tractor?
I was thinking about trying to get like a 35 horsepower to use the big scraper box, and to use the neighbor's disc and bottom. He has the 2 bottom plow. That's the 2 plows that kind of just flip all the big soil over. He's got a 34 horsepower Ford tractor. He pulls that around with it. I figure I want to get the 35 horsepower Coyote.
So you're looking 35 to 40 as well.
35 to 40, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like to get that. I don't think I'm going to get it. It's my wife's saying, all right, no, just pay Jimmy across the street $100 or $150 a summer to go out there and do the work. That's it's like, okay, yeah, all right. But see, I wanted to get the big one with a big loader bucket on it for moving stuff around, but also to put the big snow blower on it.
Right.
So that way when it's snowing, I get up, fire that sucker up, because the bigger ones start easier in the cold than the smaller ones do.
Right.
Start it up and go out there and get our street blown clean from us out to the highway street, both directions, before the kids get out there on their ATVs and pack it all down on the street.
Right.
But if I I may wind up just getting the like you're talking about, save the money on that, get the snowblower attachment for my front end on my Coyote that has the self-propelled engine on it for $6,000, and that way I can just take the Coyote out there and just run up and down and freeze my butt off in the open seat while I blow all the snow off the road to keep it from packing up so it can melt off quickly.
Right.
Yeah, because my neighbor across the street, he has the John Deere wheeled skid loader, and he has a big special snow plow box on his quick disconnect, and but he was out of town for a couple days, and he didn't get a chance to get out there with his, and I had a flat tire on my 9N, so I couldn't get out there with my angle blade, and the kids just packed the snow out there. And it took us, both of us going up and down that road about 40, 50 times each to get it down to where we were scraping on the asphalt again. And then
Right.
once we hit the asphalt and got some asphalt showing, 2 days it all melted off.
Right.
But
Yeah.
until we got down to the asphalt, it wasn't melting.
Right. Yeah, I've seen lots of videos that talk about the same thing, getting it down to the asphalt or the gravel or the dirt or whatnot.
And I forgot something here.
Yeah.
So one of the things, I'm going to put something back up here. You'll be interested in some of this. So I looked up compact tractor brands, and when I Googled it here, the first thing that popped up here was this little thing here, and asktractormike.com blog. Best compact tractor, and he goes through all these brands here, the TYM, which we didn't mention yet tonight, the LS, which was that blue one I was showing, the New Holland, which is New Holland and Case are a part of the Case New Holland family.
Right.
The Mahindra, the Deere, the Kubota, and he was talking about. But when I went to his on that link, this is what it brought up. And folks, he used to be in the industry for 30 years. He's now retired, so now he answers questions. And he has he talks about Branson, Massey Ferguson, which is one we haven't talked. Massey Ferguson's making a comeback with some good equipment.
Yeah, I've seen them out there too.
Yeah, and so he went through all these, talked about it, and you notice Coyote's right up there in the middle. And I was surprised when he talked about it, and he gave it some good thumbs up. But he talks about a lot of stuff, and then he goes down in and he has some questions and answers from his blog comments.
Tractor Mike blog? What was that?
Yeah, Tractor Mike. Okay, so basically, if you Google compact tractor brands, it came up 3 different times. I Googled it, and then you got this here showing here, and it's what's the best compact tractor. And I will put this link here to this here right here in the thing here, chat. There's the link. AskTractorMike.com blog. What is the best band of compact tractor? And his number one answer was the one that has a dealer near you that can service your tractor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because he says they're all pretty close. I mean, you're talking dollars and dollars here, bills with an orange on this one, an apple on that one, a banana on this one for the same price. So they all put different little bells and whistles on there, but they all have the pretty much everything the same that you can get. The prices spread depending on dealership, depending on sales. But yeah, it's a great thing to go. Now then, the area you don't want to go into, Scott, which some of the people out here might, and that is the garden tractors, the smaller ones, the 21 and below tractors.
Yeah, I won't be getting one of those unless I'm making a bunch of money. I can buy one for Olivia to have her own.
Yeah, and for Daniel has one of these out there, and DJ's riding it around all the time. Yeah. So there's they got different ones. Right. Little cute little green one there. That's a what's called a reel mower, basically sort of like a flail mower. But look at all these old-fashioned garden tractors. Yeah. So yeah, but there's a bunch of garden tractors out there. The Cub Cadet is a pretty decent one. Right. Now they're throwing some big ones in here. But yeah, this is what yeah.
But you do bring up a big point, because once I get my place in shape, once I have my garden and my greenhouse and my orchard in, then we're talking maintenance. Mm-hmm. And then you're talking about maybe getting a 0-point mower, because you just got to go out and mow the grass. You don't have to be taking out and mulching trees or moving logs around to build your shop, or what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah,
but done. It's a maintenance issue. Then you don't need the big stuff. So
all right. So here you have like my Coyote, I could have gotten it with one of these under it, and the Kubota comes with them. You just drive up over it, pick it up, and it locks on, picks it up, and you have a mid-deck mower.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's the other option for mid-deck mowers. Then there's the brush hog.
Yeah, that's what I was getting one of those.
Yeah, and for where you're at up there, it may be a few years before you want to get a finish mower. You may want to keep it with a brush hog or a flail mower, because you may get it all smooth and stuff, but as the soil moves and stuff, as the soil moves, you get a rock work its way up, and you don't want to hit a finish mower, a rock with a finish mower.
Right. Then you're inexpensive, replacing blades and sharpening blades all the time. Yeah, Chris says I can start with that, with a small one. I don't know, man. It's going to be about cash flow. I can maybe start with a lower priced entry level size.
Yeah. So
somebody's going to ask, oh, can you go clear out that whole field and I'll pay you X amount of dollars? Oh, my tractor's too small. Wait, let me go down and just buy a $70,000 skid steer and I'll be right back. Yeah.
No, well, here's the other thing too. I did a lot of work with my little John Deere I had years ago. A lot of it was brush hog work.
Yeah.
People, out there, they had horses and stuff, and they had hills, and they had all the weeds growing for the fire danger and stuff.
Yeah.
I was spending a lot of time on my Saturdays and Sundays out there after church and stuff, going out and brush hogging, knocking weeds down.
That was a 24 horsepower John Deere you had?
That was the 28 horsepower John Deere I had.
Okay.
And I mean, if you're going to get something, if you're going to get a tractor, I would say a 35 would be the smallest you can get. And I believe the 35, like the 35 Coyote, and I believe the same thing with the Kubotas, because they showed at the show there, had the mid-mount mower on some of them. And I'm not sure when they drop off the mid-mount mower for some of the tractors. But then the other thing you got to look at is the tires.
25. I think about 25 horsepower. I think it seems like they drop off.
I've seen them upwards close to 30 with the mid-mount mower still on them. But if you have the brush hog, man, you just go through and you can just Josh at Stony Ridge Farmer ran comparisons with I think it was because he had the big field. They were running brush hog, or maybe it was Tractor Mike that did it. They were running brush hog, finish mower, and flail mowers. They did those on the things to show what it looks like, and there wasn't that much difference between a flail and a finish mower. And if you're standing back 30 feet, there's not that much difference with a brush hog in those two.
Right.
All it does is the brush hog it doesn't cut clean, so it's a little frayed at the top on the grass.
Right.
But if you've gotten rid of all the brush out of there and you're just mowing the grass, a couple of days, that's going to be greened up again, and it's going to be looking just as nice as the finish mower.
Right. McCoy's Oak Hill just brought up a good point. They were talking about a brush hog to chop up all the pussy willows that they have there. Because I have something similar. I have all that scrub alder on my property, and some of it's real small. He's talking about 3 inches. Flail mower. What I understand about a flail mower is that they get down closer to the ground, and it'll almost strip the ground down to bare dirt.
Depending how you set it, because that's what Caltrans uses around the freeways is a flail mower, because they got all sorts of crap out there. They don't want to send it flying out into traffic. They just has the little chains whipping around, flailing it and keeping it trapped that way. Right.
Yeah, McCoy's Oak Hill. I'm on that site all the time. Whenever because I'm looking at Craigslist at different tractors, I'll type in the model number and the year and whatever of the tractor make, and I'll look at what their ratings are and all that stuff. So yeah, that's tractordata.com is, I think, is fantastic. They give you all the originals, even tells you the years that those models were made. That's a great site.
So anybody else out there, any other tractor guys?
Oh, interesting, Robert.
If you're willing, I just threw out the link. If you want to come up here and be up here with us,
Yeah,
it's easy. It's easy to come through on, so long as you have your camera with your mic and your earbud or whatever.
thanks, Ryan, for popping in, man.
All right, Ryan, take it easy. Have a good night. So yeah, and if anybody is here from Scott's channel and you go to do any of those contests, make sure you put that Scott sent you, because you came from Scott's channel over here. That way he gets the credit for the contest.
McCoy's Oak Hill Farm. If you're on your phone, you can still participate.
If you got good signal,
you can click on it. I did it before. It works. It works just fine. Actually, works better than somebody with not such a good internet connection.
Yeah.
So, Heaven's Essentials wants to pop in.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's another point. Robert and Cindy Moore just said he was mowing, his kids got too close. Some of those implements, I was watching. Oh, which one was it when they were previewing one of those forestry mulchers? I'm going to say Capper. And somebody came around the front to show they were still 20, 30 feet away, but that forestry mulcher has that open blade in the front.
Oh, yeah, it's ugly.
Holy smokes. And they were taping it, and you could see the pieces coming at the camera. I thought, man, hey, I appreciate the view that you got, but you need to set that up on a tripod and then get the heck away. But they were carrying the camera with it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, yeah, some of that stuff you definitely don't want to have people standing around while you're using it. Those forestry mulchers are insane. They're awesome. They're fun to watch.
Is this going to bring it to me?
Yeah.
No, that's not going to bring it to me. Let me go here. Then track. There's one other tractor which we really haven't talked that much about. There we go.
Oh, that's right. That's that. What is that thing again?
Ventrac. Josh at Stony Ridge has one of these, and it has the Ventrac.
I'm sorry. That thing is just ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's all American built, but look at that hill it's going up there. Look at that hill. It has a 3-blade brush hog on the front that overlaps, so it doesn't miss nothing. It's got attachments to go on the front. It's got attachments to go on the back. You can put the rotavator on the front. You can put the rotavator on the back. So you can, like here, he's brush hogging. Instead of knocking it down like a regular tractor and you're dragging your brush hog behind you to do it, the brush hog is in front on this one.
Right.
But they have, it's got loader buckets for it.
Definitely an advantage to having a front implement like that.
Yeah, and it's got, all sorts of neat stuff on it. It's got finish mowers on it. I mean, look at this hill he's going up, 60-degree slope.
Yeah. Well, I have a track skid loader. I can go up the same slope.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's a lot more stable because he's got those wide wheels out there and he's lower to the ground. But yeah, they got the sickle bar mowers. They got everything for this thing. And Josh at Stony Ridge Farmers had one on demo for a month or so. He bought it.
No way.
He bought it. He goes, he did not want to give it back.
Huh.
And so, they got, this one's got the rear attachment on it for stuff. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff there that it just goes through, and it's got the snow blowing attachment on it. But it's, you got to figure out whether or not this is something for you. Josh is in North Carolina, South Carolina. And so, so he loves it back there, his Ventracs. And that's what he's gone to using it for, because basically when he goes out to turn, it turns on a dime. He doesn't have to do the 3-point turn to come back on the next pass with the brush hog. with this tractor. And so guys, that's another option for stuff to do, and it's all American made. Nothing's made.
Look at the cab on that thing.
Yeah, they have the little cab for it too. So for the cold weather and stuff, or the dusty things. But yeah, so that's another option there.
I like what Robert and Cindy Moore said. He goes, sheep eat grass, goats eat crap. He had both, and his property was perfect. That's great. We plan on having goats, but I need to. Goats are going to take a while to eat all that, and they're not going to take down all those nasty alders I have. So
hey, the goats will take
foundation.
Hey, if you get the Kiko the Kiko meat goats, they eat brush. They don't graze. They eat brush.
And then you can eat them.
And then you can eat them. Exactly.
Well, I have to.
That's what Daniel says.
The grass gives them mud butt. Oh God.
Yes. And that's the reason why we're not getting any goats here. Once I found out that they won't graze, because my land has no trees on it or brush for them to eat. It's all been taken down. It's been grazing field. So we got to look at that's why we're thinking about when we get the 2.5 acres over there restored and get the clover growing and whatever else. We'll just get a couple beef cows and get them in the spring when they're newborns.
Yeah.
Weaned, put them out there, and then when the first snow comes, take them to the butcher.
I like that idea. I really do.
And that way, we can just load up our chest freezers and it'll be good. Yeah, goats eat poison ivy, poison oak, candy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had goats on our property up in Oregon when I was a kid, and they ate all the poison oak and everything. They were great. Didn't hurt them a bit. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh. The only thing is though, the only thing that we have here that I want the goats to eat, they won't eat. It won't hurt them, but they want to go after something else, and that's the morning glory. They can eat the morning glory and won't hurt them, but they, just like, yeah.
Do you have morning glory up there in Idaho?
Oh, I have so much morning glory around here. And it's not the stuff that's gotten loose. It's the native stuff that goes down. The tubers go down like 30 feet.
Oh.
Yeah. So the only way to get rid of it is to disc turn constantly and get the soil built back up, and then put the cover crop in and choke it out with the cover crop of either soybeans or clover, stuff like that, and get the grass to choke it out.
Yeah, interesting. So you were talking about getting a bigger tractor, and you have that old Ford 9N. Are you going to keep that thing just for
the Ford 9N is a workhorse for pulling. When I put the grass rake on it, or the landscape rake, rock rake, whatever you want to call it, I was following Jimmy around when he on his disc. He was disking up out there after he did the bottom plow. He was going around, and I was following behind him and just raking the stuff away from the fence back out. He need the big stuff out, and he'd go around again, and he'd disc that up, and we just make smaller and smaller circles. And yeah, it's great. I mean, you just sit on, and I just sit there and just go in low gear. I can put it up in high gear, and it scares the crap out of me because I'm doing 40 miles an hour down the road.
Wow. So you're not
that old tractor. It's like, shit.
Yeah, for sure. So you're not going to get rid of that. I was thinking you could almost sell both of the tractors you have and buy yourself the 40 horsepower that you're talking about. But yeah, that 9N sounds like a pretty valuable tractor to hang on to.
Oh yeah, and the drag box I got for the Coyote fits on it, and it's the same width as the tires on the 9N.
Oh wow.
Maybe a couple inches shy.
Yeah.
So I can drag around and just with the rippers on the my little drag box I had for the Coyote. It's a 5-foot wide box. It's got 5 rippers on it. When I dropped in out there, when I first had the field out there, because I had all that this weird sod buffalo grass crap out there that was not producing much at all, but allowing all the start this to come up. I tried to tear that up to level it out. Stop the tractor dead. So I raised 2 of them up. Stop the tractor dead. I just had 1 ripper in there, and I could go. With the 9N, which is basically it's a 28 horsepower engine, but because of the gearing on it and everything,
Yeah.
I put it with all five rippers down as deep as they would go, and I just chug, 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 and just ripped the snot out of that ground out there,
Okay.
and did some great work. So yeah, it's those old 9N tractors. Yeah, $3,000 or $3,500. It was the best $3,500 I spent.
I've seen a few.
That.
They're all over the place for sale.
Yeah.
You bring up another good point about the power. Trying to buy something that you wish you had something a little bit bigger, and that's another common thing that I hear all the tractor channels talking about is buy as much tractor as you can afford, because that's one thing you can't. That's the one regret most guys have is buying a tractor. They bought something too small because they didn't want to. They didn't have the money for it, or couldn't afford it, or didn't want to spend the money. So
now,
they try and buy as much as you can afford, because you won't regret not having the power.
Yeah. Now here's the flip side. Now, my little Coyote with the hydrostatic steering on it, I can run the brush hog on both of them. I haven't tried putting the grass rake on the Coyote yet, or the landscape rake, rock rake, whatever you want to call it. I haven't put it on there yet because I've been keeping the backhoe on there because I've been doing so much stuff with it. But with the hydrostatic steering on there, I can have the throttle all the way up, and I can just barely touch it, and I can creep back up against the house, drop it, and pull away with the drag box,
right?
And just do. Oh yeah,
finish work with it. Right?
Love hydrostatic.
Yeah.
Over the shuttle, over the stick, especially the 9N. It's a clutch. It's a clutch and a 3-speed with a 2-speed case on it for high-low. But the thing is that even on low and idling it down, you let it on that clutch, it goes.
Yeah.
And it just chugs.
I don't know what the difference. I know what a hydrostatic is, but I don't know what a shuttle shift is.
A shuttle shift is somewhat of a crossbreed between a stick shift and an automatic transmission.
Right.
You can shift on the go. You can shift on the go.
Right.
From my understanding of it.
And you can even go from forward to reverse, right?
You got to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, the hydrostatic, you can be going, take your foot off forward and push it on, and because it's hydraulic.
Right.
There's no gears to strip out. There's still gears in a shuttle shift.
Right.
But and someone else might know it a little bit better. I don't have a shuttle shift. If someone out here knows a little bit more about a shuttle shift, see if
I've seen, the reason I asked is
there's the chat saying we'd love to have you up here. Tell us more about shuttle shifting and how it works, because I know my neighbor across the street, he's got the 35 horsepower Ford, or the I think it's 35 horse, 32, 35, that has the shuttle shift on it. And he was teaching his son how to with a 2-bottom plow. He goes, yeah, it's not like with the disc over here. You got to do this. And he's teaching him how to go through the gears. Once you get going, he goes, you can bump up a couple of gears as you're plowing. Once you've broken ground,
right,
and you got momentum, so you can shift on the go. All right, hang on. Okay. So Chris says that's what he has on his John Deere is shuttle shift.
So I've seen a few older tractors of the various makes that had the shuttle shift. Seems like everybody, wanting a hydrostatic these days. And so the shuttle shift don't seem to be demanding as high of a price. They're not.
They're on the more.
But I'm thinking, well, gosh,
they're on the more high on the higher horsepower ones. And even with the Coyote, you have your choice: shuttle shift on the 30 horsepower, 35, 30, shuttle shift, hydrostatic.
Okay.
What I like about the hydrostatic is you take your foot off of it, it stops.
Right.
Yeah, and it's it's a feather. I mean, that's what basically John Deere had a little bit on something. I guess it was more of a shuttle shift maybe, or whatever, because you had gears. You can just shift some of the gears, but on some of the other ones, it's like, and you just you use your pedal to and all you had to do is go forward and reverse on the John Deere the 710 backhoes. We see it was so much easier than the older 510s or the 310s and the 410s,
right,
the older models. they were, you had clutch on there, and with the John Deere automatics, it's sort of like a hydrostatic, but it's an automatic, and you can do a lot of, but you can still grind gears if you go from forward to reverse while you're moving.
Right. Robert Cindy Moore says he's got a Kubota. What size Kubota do you have, Robert? I wonder what the delay is tonight.
Not sure. Let me go over here and check this out over here.
We're both West Coast, so it's almost instantaneous. It's interesting when with Broussard's Homestead, when they're doing their live stream from back east, it's they see a comment and respond almost instantaneous. But when they're on my live stream watching us and going back there's a 20-second delay by the time it gets back to them. It's crazy. Well,
even for me to you, it's on yours, it's a 20-second delay. For me to when I post something before you spot it, or you, so it may be.
Why is StreamYard working so good then? Because it's not going through YouTube.
Yeah, it's not going through the other things.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I love about StreamYard. It's so much neater stuff you can do on it. Like all these stuff I've been popping up, I can bring that over, make it a full screen. I can make it a partial screen. I can do this. I can do this. I can make us equal. I can make us ugly, and I can just go all me. That's cool. I can just make it all you. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, there's not that much of a delay because I have the dual window open on my computer, and it's pretty quick. There's only a few seconds delay there. That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's like heck. I can quickly take us from out here on the farm in back of us, and I can put us up in the Shield helicarrier, or I can put us down in the one of the bunkers underneath the. I just lost the name of the big hotel, the Greenbrier. I can put us down in the bunker under the Greenbrier.
Oh boy!
Or I can put us in the in one of the in the Atlas bunkers.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but I don't want to pay for it. I'm already paying for too much as it is.
Yeah.
I like that underground bunker there.
Yeah.
Well, this has been definitely an eye-opening, and honestly, I don't think I'm any closer to making a decision about what I'm going to be getting.
You got information though.
We got lots of information, got even more information, and piled on top of everything that Chris told me, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're going to be doing with your tractor up there as a thing. If you're going to be doing a lot of where you're going to have that big forestry cutter on it and doing forestry work for people, that's good. Like I said, if you're going to have to be, let me throw it back up here. So you can get a good snow blower on it, but you got to have the hydraulics for it. You can get where is it here? Come on. Where was the other one? I think it's maybe down below. Yeah. So you can get like the big rotavator on the front, but you need the hydraulic power for it. So whatever you get, it's going to have, then of course, your brush hog. Now your brush hog on here, if you look at the one that, go back to the one where Daniel was doing the Kubota one. That was actually making me look at the Kubota track steer out there at something.
I have not heard too many good reviews on the Kubota skid steer or track steer actually.
Well, I mean, just
out here on the West Coast, but people are saying that they break down, they're expensive.
Okay.
Well.
I'll address that in a sec. But I was looking at that. I was looking to get that type of setup, maybe with the ASV or whatever, or with the Cat or the John Deere track loader. But the attachments that he had on there for that Kubota are good. Now, let's hop in the Wayback Machine here with Mr. Peabody and Sherman and go back 30 years ago when I was working for a construction company in California. They had a little Kubota, the little Kubota tractors and stuff were down in the bore pits. Now, bore pit people is basically they drive the big old huge sheeting steel down in and make a big old hole, and they put a big machine down in it to bore underneath a roadway or underneath buildings and stuff,
Right.
and put in sewer lines and stuff. Well, they put them down in it because all that muck would be coming out, and they'd be using the things. They bought several Kubotas, and they picked up at an auction in Hawaii some coyotes that had somehow made it into the United States that weren't supposed to be in the United States yet because they hadn't set up the dealerships for them. Those coyotes outperformed the Kubotas hand down so much so, and were so reliable, he got rid of the Kubotas and was scrounging and paying top dollar to get another coyote because they were doing more work.
They were selling for the price differentials.
Because, well, they weren't supposed to be in the U.S. Some came through Canada, some came from the Philippines to Hawaii, and so they were shipped in. And so, we had fun getting parts for them, but we never hardly ever had to get parts for them. And that's why I was sold on when I saw a coyote appear. It's like, yay! And that's why I jumped on it. But depending on something like they were saying, the wheel on here is preferred over the cat wheel, but the track, suspension is better on the cat. Like Chris was saying that, right?
He was just talking about the wheels themselves, the bogies being the steel ones last longer. That was it.
Yeah.
Capper said that he liked the way the Bobcat felt. It was actually ran a lot smoother because he has a bad back.
Yeah.
That's why
what you need to do is before you buy up there,
test drive a bunch of them.
Rent them for a week or two and put in a lot of work on them up there around your house. Get an attachment that you're going to want to keep. The brush hog or whatever it is, or the forestry mulcher. Buy that and then find out which one. Make sure you rent one that can handle it and see how they ride and see which one works best for you.
Yeah.
It may be that for a while you may be getting the track steer with the force, especially if you can get some contracts to do stuff.
Right.
But then again, you're going to need to get the snowblower attachment for it too.
Well, that's easy. I'm going to get that for whatever I get. So
yeah, and so that's a
no-brainer on that one.
Yeah. So you'll need to get your snowblower, your brush hog, possibly, because you'll probably need your brush hog up there in the spring. And then,
we have 4 or 5 foot tall grass and weeds.
Yeah. And if you check Daniel Arms's videos back when he was doing the, because he didn't have one of those forestry mulchers, but he had something else. He was taking down 3 and 4 inch trees with the brush hog on that Kubota.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So, and I don't think it was a Kubota brush hog. I think it was a different brand, but that's what the South Plains Kubota put on their Kubotas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was something I had thought about when I originally was looking at thinking about what I was going to buy up there. I seriously have a couple of acres of these alders down by the creek that I need to clear out. And my original thought was I'm going to be down there with my chainsaw, cutting all that stuff down. So I'm going to need a grapple to pick all that stuff up and go put it in a big burn pile. And then the stumps, I'm going to need a backhoe to dig out those stumps. And I need to, so I need a couple of implements there on my tractor. And then I never even considered a skid steer with one of those forestry mulchers, because the forestry mulcher will just, in one step, take it all out, mow it down, and chip it, and done.
Yeah.
No burning required. Then I got some fresh mulch. So
yeah, and that may help also keep more of the alders from coming up if you have a pile of mulch over there. Keep the weeds down and everything else.
Yeah, it'll take it right down to the dirt. So, but Chris said he paid $20,000 for his forestry mulcher. I mean, that's some money, but
yeah,
The other thing he threw out too is that potentially, at least when he was doing his business, is that he would go and rent implements that he needed for a particular job, then go return them, because anybody that sells a Bobcat or any of these with the quick, any of these skid steers are going to have those quick attachments that you can rent for a day or two or whatever.
Yeah,
you can save yourself some money there. So
yeah,
so I got a lot of things to think about. I got to see what's available and what the pricing and stuff is.
yeah,
And
yeah. Because like Daniel's out there in Oklahoma,
right,
and he has a lot of the cedar coming up around out there, and that's what he was cutting down, was a lot of the cedar with that mulcher thing.
I see.
And then I'm not sure. I think even no, Josh, Stony Ridge wound up getting one of those things and was using it over there too.
Yeah,
in his place, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. Don't quote me on that one. I may be having.
I'll go check out their channels and see. I know that those guys 1 month of YouTube revenue, and they can go buy whatever they want.
Yeah, just about. But of course they got. Of course, he's now has Daniel last year picked up 100,000 subscribers last year alone.
Right.
But yeah, there is some really. Let's see here. Let me pull something up here for you really quick here. Yeah, so there's a lot of options you have with the, put it up here. Come on. Let's go. It's running slow. Emily.
That was awesome. Nice to join us tonight.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be back a ways. I'm not sure which where we would have put it under playlist. Let's see if he's got that his tractor work under playlist. Got the alpacas, the donkey poodles. Actually, let me put it up here so you can see what I'm doing. So he's looking at his different playlists here. High tunnel, tilling the garden. No. That's when he got it stuck. Kitchen. Where is the shoot? Okay, that's when Justin Rhodes came in. That was after Justin Rhodes was there. So I'm not sure he has it in one of the playlists or not for the it. But yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm willing to say a couple months back is all. That's 1 month ago. 2 months ago.
Hank had done a review on a PTO stump grinder. That's right.
Okay, it was before it was somewhere around here, because he was doing also stuff for the plot. So maybe just before the plots there, he was doing there it is, right there. Bingo. Okay, so this is the I'll throw it up here for you in the link here. Control C. This is the video where he was. It'll start here. Got so much stuff open here. Yeah, he's got the Kubota and he's talking about it. Extreme duty brush cutter.
Oh yeah.
And so talks about a little bit of stuff going on here. Let's get up here where he gets on it. And so that's the SVL 95 Kubota. So that's got to have the flow of that to operate this.
Oh, holy smokes. Remember I was telling you about somebody videotaping the front of it was Hank's video.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that.
Look at the front of this. Let's see if he gets back where he shows the front of it here. Turn. Okay. Yeah, all right. So it's got the push bar to push down the big trees.
Right.
And then it anything like 4 inches or so, and it'll chew it up.
Right. Have you seen the bottom of one of those blades?
You mean the samurais from hell?
No, they're not samurai. They're not blades. They're actually like
Big-
sharp. So Hank,
big old bars with or on the one that he had, yeah, his looked like a stump grinder turned sideways.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So Hank actually lifts him up, and he shows you what the bottom of it looks like and tells you
yeah,
how it works. I really liked Hank's video. That was fantastic.
yeah.
Till the very end when he's in the front and that thing, like who's oh, so he's got the chain, so he doesn't have an exposed blade on that one. The one Hank did, he's got about a 12-inch exposed blade.
You can't really see it here, but it's kind of similar to it. Let me see if I can take it a little bit bigger here.
Hey, Lock and Roll, thanks for stopping in.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Trying to get it to go bigger here. There we go. Still, it's kind of hard to see on the other screen. I can see it. There's the little carbide cutters along here.
Right.
And then it has short, stubby arms here that are like brush hogs blades, but they're they beat the tree down to death, and then the bottom grinds it off.
I see. So that one,
it might be see a little bit better there on that one. See
so
that there?
Lift that one up and come at the tree with that thing lifted up. Where the one that Hank was reviewing, the blade was actually like a saw blade on the edge, and then as you ran over it, would mulch it.
There you go.
That's a good video. Right
see the blade right here?
Yeah.
And here's the other blade. It's the blade swing around, so you hit something too hard, it gives.
I got you.
And you don't get like with the other one. You're actually you're slowly grinding it. This thing here will beat the crap out of it, and you got 4 blades on here, and then you got these rows of cutters underneath here to take it down to ground level.
I wonder how much that thing costs versus the one that Hank had.
Oh, there's a good shot. He finally got a good shot. There we go. Yeah. So you see what it's talking about here, and but then he goes over here. Stupid commercial.
If you buy YouTube Premium, you don't have to watch commercials.
Yeah. So just goes in there, and he's taking on. Look, he'll go push down some trees.
Yeah. And
it's just you can see some on the front there. Some of the pieces that have landed on it. But he just goes through and see.
Yeah.
He just starts taking stuff down and just goes through, and in a day, what he went through in a day out there, to see if I can go find some more. He actually goes into a spot and he just starts pushing trees all around him down. He just clears an area really fast.
Yeah, that's what my place looks like. That's how thick my brush is actually thicker than that. But yeah, I need the same kind of thing for my place. And the nice thing about using a skid steer is it's in front of you, and it's so quick and versatile.
Compared to just going over those things.
Yeah, you just driving right over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I watch a video like that, and then I'm convinced. Yep, I want a skid steer. That's what I gotta have. They're quicker and faster. Just like Chris said, you'll make more money with one of those because they're faster.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be doing stuff like that for people.
Yeah. If you're going to be working around trees and stuff, a skid steer is probably your better way to go.
Yeah.
When you get out on your road, though, for speed, for clearing your road from snow,
a
tractor's faster than that, because a tractor will fly down there. If you have have the right thing on it, you'll be blowing snow and you'll be able to go down that road, pretty daggone fast.
Yeah. Well, and that's the advantage. That's the pro on the tractor, like you say, is if having the front blower and a blade in the back. What you miss with the blower, you're using the blade to scrape and pile up in the middle of the road, and you turn around and hit a pass on the backside.
And what's even neat about that, they have 3-point angle brooms that can be either on PTO, or you can put has the quick connect hydraulic pump to the PTO, and the broom just goes and it smooths. I mean, it sweeps clean. Yeah. So so long as you have asphalt. If you have rock, you don't set it down quite so low, and it just, So once the like out in my driveway out, oh man, crud. Let me run this back. You got to see this one. Hang on. Let me back this up just a second here. A little bit farther. Watch this tree.
Yeah.
See that tree?
That's a solid 3-inch tree. Yeah, it just takes it right
saw
down.
the way that thing kicked up, and he just, yeah.
And then he mulched it. He turned it into mulch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, let me go ahead and stop this over here so I stop getting distracted. Squirrel.
Yeah, right. I can watch those all day. I do. I watch them all day.
Yeah. So, Don WD Block and Roll wants an excavator, and actually, I'm going to be renting a Bobcat excavator here in a couple months.
A Mini X.
Yeah, one of those Mini X's with a 24-inch bucket on it to lay down the rest of the irrigation ditch pipe.
Oh, right.
Because I got to be able to straddle the ditch what I already dug, so I can widen it out, so I can put that pipe in and lay it at the right angles and stuff. So I'll be filming that here, in a couple months.
Right. See, I was kind of considering the same thing as just renting a Mini X for the backhoe work that I need to have. Going ahead and buying a skid loader and then renting a Mini X for the backhoe stuff I need to do that I can get done in a day.
Yeah.
And returning that, but the skid loader will just do so much more, so much faster. But
yeah,
someday I'll have both.
Yeah.
Those Mini X pay guys tons of money. Yeah. So.
And there's like I was the dealer here. I mean, I was there and they had like 5 different sizes of the mini excavators. And I'm not talking about the little itty bitty ones either. These were the ones that, real tracks, blades on it, the real deal type things.
Right.
And they got up to the size of some of the Utanis and the small cats.
Yeah.
Out there.
A whole new that's a whole different ball game when you start talking about those and zero turns and all that stuff. And yeah, big time. Blades, no blades.
Yeah.
So, well, great info tonight, man.
Yeah.
Good life. It was fantastic having. Too bad we couldn't get Chris in there a little better tonight, but he's got to get that connectivity worked out. So it was fantastic having Hank and his input there.
Yeah. So I would say get whatever those get whatever if you're going to get one. Look into that one like Daniel was renting there. Check it against the forestry one. See what one you want. Figure out which one of those you're going to buy. And then rent a couple find out what skid steers are around there, and make sure whatever you buy, find out what the hydraulic requirements are.
Right.
See about maybe 5-10% over that on whatever for the skid steer to have, so you don't run into problems with stopping the lift or whatever like you were mentioning before we started, and that would probably be a good thing for you. Now, I know there's several people down there, like Anthony might need something like that, rental, to clear some of his land. I've seen some other people with some big stuff like that. Those skid steers for rental, for getting in there and getting stuff done, especially that one that had the not this is a brush hog, but the one that had that big monster rotor this on it. You can go in and just do some heavy duty. This is construction, not ag.
Right.
Which means use it on ag. It's really good because it's built for it's built to be beaten to death.
That a rotavator, right? Well, I mean, that's basically just a big flail mower.
No, rototiller.
Oh, that's a rototiller. Oh, okay.
Yeah. A rotavator. It tills up the ground back here.
Oh,
and it goes through, and it just it's heavy duty. It's a rototiller. It's like you rototiller you walk behind, or you got one of those ones you can stand on the little back thing of it. Once you get it attached to the tractor, they start calling them a rotavator, and for the because they're bigger, heavier duty.
Right.
And I mean, this thing here is probably one that goes down. I'm willing to bet it goes down 12 inches.
Wow.
I'm looking here at the where the center point on that is. It's down close to the ground, so I'm betting that can go down, 12 inches.
Huh. Interesting.
But yeah, so you got to,
Yeah, I figured I was gonna have a rototiller someday too for the back of my 3-point, whatever tractor I get.
yeah. Something like this, you can you can get, this you can probably rototill a little bit better going up into the underneath the trees and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts. This you switch directions really quickly, whereas with a 3-point, you can't switch directions of the tines, which way it's going.
Okay.
So that's another. What was that?
Why would you want to switch directions on the tines?
All right, you're right now. You go forward, it's turning one direction. You go to back up, and you will still want to tilt. You want to tilt the other way, so you're not pulling the dirt. Because otherwise, if it's tilting this way, it's pulling dirt back. Right now, as he's going forward, it's turning this. It's turning this way, and so it's pulling dirt back as he goes forward to till in as it cuts in. Well, if you start backing up, it's still going this way. What's it doing? It's throwing all that dirt back behind it, and now it's lowering it down.
Yeah.
So you'd want to turn it the other way as you back up, so you're tilling it a second time, and you're not leaving tracks where you just tilled on your nice freshly tilled
I got you.
soil.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Josh was talking about, the Ventrex. You can go backwards, forwards. You have it on the front, you have it on the back, different ways.
Yeah.
It works both ways for your tilling, so you can leave a nice smooth tilled garden without any tractor prints in it.
Right.
And you can go this way, that way, and every which way with it.
McCoy's Oak Hill said they'd like theirs, so yeah.
Yeah, I had a 3-point tiller on my John Deere. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Now I actually did what I said you don't want to do there with my John Deere. Sometimes I would lift up the flap gate in the back of my tiller on my rotavator, and I would go backwards with it, and it would just it would start throwing stuff up, but I would dig down in when I needed to get into do some deep tilling, and I go backwards for a little bit, then I pull it back forward, and I work it back and forth like that. Go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth as I move forward. So I start back here, go forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, and just leave a nice, 8, 10-inch deep tilled area that was just so nice and loomy. And it would while I was doing that, they'd come out and people would dump on bags of their compost, the steer manure, the chicken manure, and then I go over it one more time like that, and it'd be tilled in just absolutely smooth.
Yeah. Now I remember, I have very, very vivid memories of the garden we had up in Oregon, going down to the nearest chicken farm with my dad and the flatbed we had, and piling up just mounds of that chicken manure. And we came back home and threw it all over the garden. And one of the elders in the church brought his John Deere with a 3-point tiller in the back and just rototilled that giant garden. We had corn that was literally about 9 to 10 feet tall. It was over my dad's head by a couple of feet at least. And my dad's 6 foot. It was an insane garden that year after all that was done. But I remember the tractor, and I thought, man, that thing is cool. And it did it so fast and so deep, and it made that such a nice fluffy garden bed. It was just amazing how nice that soil was after it was amended like that. Yeah. And once you do it once, you break it all up and you amend it, then I mean, you're not really having to do that every single year. And that's why these back to Eden people are talking about no tilling. Well, but you gotta
prep it first.
Prep it first, right? So
yeah, because they're dealing with ground that has been run over, compacted, and everything else, and now it needs to be fluffed back up like it has 3 feet of compost on it. Well, once you have it tilled up and you start adding all your compost and your hugel mounds and whatever else you want to do on it,
right?
Then you don't need to till it again, and you can keep all your weeds down by piling more compost on it.
Yeah. So I'll have a tiller for sure someday. But definitely the implements I'm going to need are going to be the brush hog, maybe a forestry mulcher, and maybe if I can't rent one, a snow blower, a blade, a box blade. I thought about doing a PTO driven log splitter, but the more and more I think about that, I think I'm just going to get an independent standalone log splitter.
Yeah.
That seems like they're a little more versatile, because if you're running around back and forth with your tractor, moving logs and stuff, piling up wood, you don't want to have the log splitters, stuck on the back of your tractor.
Yeah.
That's watching Outdoors with the Morgans. I see that. That's pretty obvious to me. If you can start doing a lot, and I'm going to need a lot of wood up there. So
yeah.
I don't know how many cords of wood people down South Idaho are going through. A couple of a winter, but we're going to probably be going through about 5 cords every winter, and so I needed to be producing a lot more. Well, yeah, possibly more.
10, because Heath on Red Poppy Ranch, he had 3 or 4. And I kept telling him. I kept telling him both on the video, and every time on video he mentioned it, I've mentioned on the video and on Facebook, 10 cords. And this next year he's going to have 12 cords.
Yeah, I was watching the same videos. Yeah, I love his channel. I love what he's doing up there.
And so
have you watched him from the beginning?
I went back and watched a lot of his older ones. I watched the one when he was still down there in Phoenix, when he was building the sawmill down in Phoenix.
That's when I started watching him.
And I went back and I watched some of those.
All the tractors and the stuff that he's bought and fixed and repaired and used and sold, and that big excavator he had that he never really got running very well, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And how I found him, I was looking on a for a channel on for digging a well, and there was this old guy that was doing it with it was Turner and stuff and doing everything, and it was one of the recommended ones on the side was when Heath was putting in his shallow well.
Yeah,
and that's how I found on to Heath, which led me to one of the other ones, which led me to Daniel, which led me to Josh, and then I wound up finding North Country, and I just I just following the community of channels on homesteading, and that's how I found everybody.
How far away are you from say Coeur d'Alene?
A long ways. Well, let me put it this way here. Let me show you here real quick here.
The reason I ask is that we are pretty much, we're looking at the last weekend in June to have our YouTube creators meet up.
Yeah.
And there's, like Butch at Sand Hollow Homestead, they said they're going to make the trip up there. I think they're about 7-8 hours away. You're probably a good 10 hours, I imagine, huh?
Let's see. Okay, so
you'd have to make a weekend of it. It's going to be on a Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, back this off a little bit here. And actually, let me take this back down to there. Okay, so you're too far. Ah, dang it. I hate it when this thing does this. Oh, I'm in the wrong country. Russia. Now I want to get back over to the U.S. Dang it. Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Greenland. Let's get back over to the U.S. Okay, here we go.
Yes, Heaven's Essentials. I am not currently, as I'm sitting here, in North Idaho, but my Hidden Valley Homestead is in North Idaho. Yes.
All right. So British Columbia. There we go. All right, getting back down here. There we go. Okay. So,
what's quack grass?
Huh?
McCoy's Oak Hill says they have quack grass.
Yeah. All right. So here's Coeur d'Alene here.
Oh.
So I'm going to go. And so here's Boise.
She was being facetious. I was going to say you've been enough of my live streams to know where I'm at.
Yeah. So here's Boise. Here's Coeur d'Alene. Up here is Sandpoint.
You're in Boise?
No. Here's Boise. Here's Boise here.
Yeah.
See the red thing? That's where I'm at. There's
Oh, okay.
Pocatello, Idaho Falls. So
Okay.
I'm 4.5 hours from Boise.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So if I were to
You
go,
can't really go across the mountains. You gotta go through Boise and come up through McCall and all that, huh?
yeah. And so directions, if I was to go to, come on, back out again. Dang it. I want to click on it. Zoom, Montana, Lewiston, Moscow, Coeur d'Alene. So if I go here and I go now, directions to here. So it runs two different. All right, it runs up and around this way here at 7 hours 40 minutes, going up 15 up to 90 at Butte, Montana, back into Idaho over that way there. Now if I were to take it down here, that's 10 hours, 11 hours this way.
Yeah.
But
so you're down on the southeast side.
It slows down through here, going up here through Lewiston and Moscow and McCall, and that it slows it down there. Whereas here you got 90 and you go doing a little bit better on Highway 90 and 15 up this way here. But I know from here to here, it's 80 miles an hour.
Yeah. So you're down by Red Poppy. He's down over there too, southeast side.
He's down here. He is down. So Preston is where Willow Creek was, and he is somewhere over here, I believe. He's about 85 miles from me.
I gotcha. You said their elevation is about 5,000 feet or something, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, where our elevation is 2,500 feet. We get plenty of snow, but he gets a little bit more.
He's up there on the mountain.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you know. We're gonna have that meetup this coming end of June, 4th of July.
Okay. And I've been talking with Butch.
Yeah.
And we're looking at doing a southern Idaho one.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And so
he's down there too.
Yeah. He was thinking up for some reason he was picking up by Grangeville. And I'm thinking, well, wait, that's up there towards Lewiston. That's northern Idaho. And then I found out that he's down here by Caldwell. And I said, no, there's a bunch of you guys down here. Make it down here, real. Yeah, and we'll just come us over here on the eastern side will come across.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Butch made ours last year. He drove all the way up to northern Idaho to beat ours last year.
Yeah, and Tyler's down here. Just let's talk about prepping. He's down in this area.
Thanks for popping in. Thanks, McCoys. Thanks for coming in.
Yep. So it's it's like a 4.5 hour drive for me to get over here to Boise.
Yeah.
And another half hour, 20 minutes to get up to wherever he is up here. So they just I'm gonna try to convince him to do it over there.
Hey, Blue Healer, thanks for popping in.
Hey, Blue Healer.
Cool.
So
good stuff. Well, I'll let you know if you guys decide you want to make a trip out of it.
Yeah, I want to come up there.
Once we get our guest quarters all done and stuff, then we'll have all kinds of room to invite people to stay over and save them the hotel fee and whatnot. But
yeah,
I gotta get a tractor and get it in shape first.
All right, now here's a question for you: your septic tank.
Mm-hmm.
How far away from your house is your septic tank?
It's probably about 50 feet.
50 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to. I think I should say this out here where the Nazis of Bonner County Planning Commission could hear it.
Well, okay. So on that note, I know what you're going to say is that yes, it was when I bought our place. It was all permitted. Septic was permitted. The building was all of that. So I'm good to go on all that stuff. I'm safe. And I
what I was thinking is what I did on one of my videos.
Do a tie-in.
For a trailer spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't believe I need a permit to do the tie-in. I just need to just put the new fitting in and
Yeah.
have it reach to the top of the ground right there. I have a perfect spot for it, so I do plan on doing that. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys that works for the city here told me to put in 2 or 3.
Huh.
Because that way you have friends come up, they can all hook up and do it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then earlier this month, because some idiot in town had set up a trailer and had hooked it up right out in public view and everything else, and was shacking up with a lady from the other side of town. And yeah, anyways, it was a big ugly thing. Ticked everybody off because of what he was doing. They passed an ordinance that you can, if it's over 14 days, you're not allowed to do that unless you get a waiver. And so when I go to the next meeting, I'm going to say, hey, guys, you need to add to that ordinance a hookup fee option where they can pay $20 a month to hook the trailer up to the sewer and the water, and that way you guys get revenue off of it. And that way, if they do more than, if they stay all summer long, somebody comes and visits for the summer, you're getting the money for the sewer treatment plant and the water treatment plant to pay for it.
Oh, because you're on city sewer. That's right.
We're on city sewer here.
Okay.
And so he said to hook up, do multiple hookups to the city sewer.
Right.
So I have my one hookup already in before they passed that ordinance. So I'm set on that. But, it's like, hey, set it up so you guys can make money on it, not grubby money Democrat grabbing everything out of someone's wallet, just enough to cover the cost.
Right.
And, make everybody happy, because, hey, $20 a month is nothing for a trailer hookup fee.
Right. Well, that's another project I need a backhoe for. So
yeah,
that's one of the items I was going to do. I'm going to do that. So
how deep is your frost line up there?
I don't think it's much deeper than 12 to 18 inches. I don't think.
Okay, because here, even here where I'm at, I went down 36 inches.
Right.
To try to go down and to the stuff, and then I for my hydrants, for my 5-foot hydrants.
Right.
So sometimes they're not all the way 5 foot deep, but I've tested everything. I found out in some of the areas around here where I'm at, it freezes and it goes down deep. You go over 30 feet and you go down 6 inches and it's muddy in the ground.
Interesting.
So there's evident there is some geothermal stuff around this area. And so with all the rock and the gravel and stuff, the heat comes up in different ways through different parts of the soil.
Interesting.
But if you like I say, you get if you're thinking you only got like 18 inches, you get like one of those ditch witches that'll go down 36 inches, or 2.5 feet, 30 inches, and just but you got to have one that does 4 inches wide for your hookup.
Cabin in the woods. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. I was up at 4 a.m. Actually, no, I turned my alarm off and slept an extra half an hour. My wife woke me up. I hopped out of bed at 5 and hopped on my bike and went to work. I overslept.
Are you working tomorrow?
No, I'm off tomorrow. Yeah, thankfully.
You're off tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can do up in your property. I've been watching what some of these guys back east have been doing on their homesteads and stuff, and getting ideas. Tractor wise, Scott, for you, I would say it looks like first things first probably is going to be to do a lot of work on your property this fall and get stuff done. Is going to be a skid steer.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I said that.
I know, right? But again, like I was saying before, I'm thinking that maybe just renting a dozer to do all the big heavy work to get it done, and then once I get the road graded and then gravel put on it, and it's drivable and clearable. Because right now, because a lot of people I've seen a lot of videos. People have a front loader and a rear blade, And so they push the snow off to the side, or they scoop it and dump it in big piles. The problem with my road is that one side of it is an uphill side, and the other side, parts of it kind of a downhill towards the creek, but there's really nowhere to push the snow. And one thing that was an eye opener was with Heath at Red Poppy Ranch had done just recently, was he was talking about his snowplow on his trucks. He's gone through different variations of his snowplow.
Yeah.
He said that this year that the snow got so deep and at one point that once the snow got to 2 to 3 feet deep, that you couldn't really kick the snow off to the side anymore. He had to do about 20 miles an hour to get the snow to kick up and over the side of the berm to get it over the side.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you remember that video, right? So
Yeah.
that was like, oh, well, then that convinced me 120%. I have to have a blower, because it'll get, right now, my neighbor just sent me pictures today, and they're still 3 feet in some places. And that road that I have is only maybe 10 feet wide. There is nowhere to push that much snow. It has to be blown out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's
and that's the thing too with the skid steer.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going down there and you're with the blower on it, you push forward, you back up a little bit, turn a little bit, and go at a 45-degree angle to the side, and you blow it a little bit farther so you can actually find where the edge of the road is without driving over it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because that's what happened to Heath on that one corner.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Well, but again, I'm going to have a front blower on my tractor if I get a tractor instead. I'm going to have one on the front end loader. So yeah, I can do the same thing with a tractor, but
yeah, it's easy. It's easy with a skid steer though. You've cleared the road, you can turn it. You can actually sideways on the road to blow back farther to make sure you clear it to where the road pavement ends. The gravel goes a little, or if it's all gravel, with the gravel ends, and you start going off into the ditch, so you don't go in the ditch with your tractor.
Right.
It's easier with you can do that with a 4-wheel drive tractor, but with a skid steer, you can pivot and just go at it. You
can fish. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll see. But the budget definitely is what's going to kind of determine what I buy, and I have to try and strategize, get the most strategic piece of equipment that I can. I have a friend of mine up there that says I can work as much as I want once I get up there. He's actually a general contractor up there, and is doing a bunch of development. And he said that as soon as you get up here, you'll work as much as you want. I could go to work for one of the crane companies up there, which I may have to do at first just to get some cash flow going.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get that up and running, because I already have the trailer and the truck, I just need the tractor. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that kind of off the ground and running. But my friend up there says, "Hey, there is so much work to be had." He goes, "You're gonna go to work right away." I'm like, well, okay, that'd be great for the cash flow. Then once the cash flow starts, it's not such a problem. Then once I build up enough profit in the business, I can go buy a brand new piece or get a Mini X. So I can have everything, the best of all of it.
Yeah. Your truck is a 1-ton, right?
Huh?
Your truck is a 1-ton, right?
Yes, that's an F350 Super Duty.
Dually or single?
It's a single.
Single.
Okay. It's got a gooseneck in it though. It's a gooseneck trailer.
All right. So you'll have a big trailer. Okay. I know Idaho allows studded tires, unlike California.
Yes, they do.
So you maybe that's something else. Come next November, you're going to need to be getting us a set of studded tires for it.
Yeah, I'll probably end up just doing. I'm going to buy the set of tires for Olivia's Explorer. She's a 4-wheel drive Explorer, so we'll invest in a set of tires for her first, and I'll probably just run chains because the 4-wheel drive with the weight of that thing, I shouldn't have too much of a problem. But we'll have to see. So I got to start somewhere, and I can't start as big as I'd like to. I got to start somewhat small, but big enough that I can handle, some decent money making jobs. So we'll see what happens.
Hang on, I gotta put it up here.
Somebody keeps telling me stop yawning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, so everyone in the side chat that's still here. It's not just for Scott about talking about the difference between the skid track loaders and stuff. I can say this: that Brandon, my neighbor across the street, he has the John Deere wheeled instead of tracks. And I know there's times he wish he had tracks.
You said he's got a skid steer, a John Deere skid steer?
Yeah, with the wheels.
With the wheels.
Yeah, and so I know there's times where he's come back and that thing's had mud up on the sides and he has to get the pressure washer out to clean it off, where he wish he had tracks.
Have you seen over the tire tracks that you can get, those kits?
I'm not sure if his will take those or not.
Some of them do, some of them don't. You're right. Yeah.
So, but like he's been out in the fields with his cattle, and he's wish he had the tracks because somebody left the irrigation ditch open or blocked off the one before him and didn't open it back up after they got theirs, or after him and didn't open it back up. So it just kept flooding his now. So his fields.
Yeah. But, you know what? A wheeled one never entered my mind ever one time. It's always been a tracked steer. Yeah. I've got down the lower part of my property is real close to the creek. It's real marshy down there. And I got a lot of stuff to clear out. It's going to have to be a track steer. Absolutely.
Let me throw something else up here real quick. And for you, come on, open. I don't want everybody to see my stuff here.
You're right. The tracks on the pavement don't do as well.
Hopefully, let's see if it's in here now. No, it's not there. Where was it at? Where did I put it at?
The Blue Healer, the Capper Outdoors had done a review on a bunch of different track steers, and he did address that as far as the pavement and hard surfaces compared to the dirt and the gravel, and that's why he said the Bobcat rode the best when it was even on the hard pavement.
Let me enlarge this so you guys can see it. Come on. There we go. So I've seen several different channels where they're talking about this. And so I looked these up. They have the studs that you can screw into the rubber tracks.
You were talking about.
So you got your studs to if you're on an icy road.
Check that out.
So you don't slip around. And so now the Grip Master is the most expensive one out there. Whether it's because it says it's carbide studs. Most of the others don't say carbide studs on them, so they're cheaper. But so they come in different lengths too. So you got like you click on it, you got 18 millimeter, 25 millimeter, 32 millimeter. And it's like that. And so they got different lengths you can get them. And
you know what? I'm going to message Stanley Dirt Monkey. He has not done a review on the studs yet. Remember I told you about the tracks that he had gotten?
Yeah.
And he got the off-brand, and the off-brand was half the price of the actual Caterpillar or Bobcat brand. And the off-brand actually did a lot better in the snow. I haven't seen anybody do a review on studs. Now, the question I have is that because of those tracks, they have the steel belted tracks, and then they have the nylon belted tracks.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering how deep those go.
All right, here. I'll tell you. All right, so you can get these as shallow as 1/2 inch.
Yeah, but they're not going to stay in as long.
Well, those are like for they have them for even shallower than that for street tires for cars.
Okay.
This one here is 1 inch length.
Yeah, it says right there, skid steers, loaders, tractors.
Yeah. And so this here says has 1 inch length on them. But when you go in and you start looking at the different things here, this has different qualities on this one here. But you can get 3/4 inch, 1 inch. Come on, where'd it go? It jumped on me here. 12 mil. The thing is, I think it mixed up 12 millimeter, 1 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch.
Ooh, look at those pictures.
Yeah, and so they show them on the put him in across the.
Okay, so that's a whole set of tracks right there for.
Yeah, you got the Ice Cobra tracks, different sizes, and then they have all the nice little tools and stuff for doing all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can also, they got 28 pages of these different ones.
Oh,
and you,
wow.
Yeah, and you can put in an insert that stays in, and you just change out the heads.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, when you change out the head, you can put in a screw to, fill it in. So when you're in regular dirt and stuff during the summertime, you're not destroying your other bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got all sorts of. There was that one there. See this one here? It's got a little spiral thing, and it goes in 9.8 millimeter for for the car and ATVs. So it's a shallow one with a big screw in there that goes in, so it grabs the rubber.
Yeah.
Whereas these other ones are long for construction stuff. Yeah, they got all sorts of different sizes.
Oh, that's on
all
Amazon.
Different types. Yeah, this is all Amazon. So
there's car tire studs right there in the middle. Huh, check that out. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you get that stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, you never know what you can get on Amazon until you type it in.
Right.
And I guarantee you, Scott, if you mistype something, you're going to be blushing. Yeah, you mistype something wrong, and it comes out, oh, I didn't want that. But yeah. So there's different types, but the Grip Master are carbide studs. So
right. So they're going to last the longest. Wow. $150 to $600 for a whole set. There's only 2-star ratings on that one, but interesting.
Yeah. But you go up here.
Think about it.
See, here's got 3-star rating, but like for this one here, it's $279 for 250 of them.
Right.
If I need 500 of them, it's $578.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's something to think about. That you don't have to be spending, have 2 sets of tracks on, unlike your tires or whatnot. So that's good to know. Well, I got lots to think about. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. And everyone out there, thanks for sticking around. Hope somebody learned something, and you got some ideas for anything you guys might need, different type tractors and everything else here. And put this back up. And so one last little shot here. Put it on this one here.
That's a great comment Blue Healer has. Make sure you have tire change. The studded tires don't work as good as people think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife's Explorer's it's an all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. So those will, and it doesn't weigh a whole lot, but for a big heavy truck, with a trailer, I'm going to be doing chains. So
let me throw this up here real quick. Okay, one more. There we go. And now to just run through all the different type tractors that we've talked about and shown and looked at. And there was a cute one, there's this the track kits for garden tractors. If it doesn't have to be in the snow, it could be muddy, that you may want to get a track set for some of these tractors and stuff.
Right.
The add-on kits guys out there. So yeah,
pretty funny to see some of that stuff. You spend a lot of money on those add-on kits, but that was a good tractor right there.
Yeah, that last one, yeah. But the one thing, if you're in a muddy area, like Anthony is right now getting rained on, the kits that go on your existing tractor, you can get those. They have those for you.
Yeah.
But there was one tractor in here we didn't talk about. I wanted to where it's in the barn. In the barn here. Little cute Massey Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little Massey Ferguson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got nice little ones for working around, and it's got the fold down ROPS on it too. So in case you go through a low door, you can lower it down.
Right.
So anybody out there you're thinking about getting a tractor, you don't have to get one of those big monsters if you really don't need it. They got 21, 24, 28, 30 horsepower, small ones, compact tractors. And most of the compacts like this one here, I don't know if you can see it. It's got, I can tell this is hydrostatic because it's got the forward and reverse pedal right there.
Right.
And
very convenient.
yeah, and they have the deck mowers. You just drive up over it and the thing locks down, picks it up, and center PTO.
Hey, on that note, really quick, did your Coyote have the 2 pedals?
Yes.
Okay, so the Kubotas have the floor pedal that you rock back and forth, the rocker pedal, a single pedal.
Yeah.
2 separate pedals like the John Deere does.
I like it. Yeah. Massey Ferguson, Coyote, some of the others have the 2 pedals. I believe the Bobcat, it has the new ones coming out, have the 2 pedals on theirs as well. They were saying
more popular having 2 separate pedals, huh?
Yeah, because it's easier. Your foot just goes deep, this pedal forward, reverse, and
Yeah.
you can rather than trying to go this way. If you hit a bump this way, also you're going. It just throws you.
I thought about that.
And that way you're
going to happen a lot.
Yeah, your heel is set solid on the deck here, and so you hit a bounce, you're not accidentally winding up hitting reverse.
Right.
Like with the other ones.
Right. Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of cute ones out there, people. There's a lot of cute little like here. All right, here we go. The deck mower. This is this one here looks like this is a 24 horsepower. It might be a 28 horsepower John Deere with a little backhoe on it and everything. And yeah, so they got the deck mowers underneath them, which are, you have an area like a big lawn area. Yeah, you just put it on there, you just buzz around there really quick and you're done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like this does not have a deck mower on it.
No, but I would rather have one of those than the small one.
Yeah. I believe this one here, this one may or may not. The next one's down there. They do have the PTO on the bottom of them. Not. When I get around here, you might find one. Does not. Does. This one, the site, you can tell by the size of them and the way there's not a lot hanging down here. It has the deck mower on it.
Right.
Mine, definitely deck mower on mine. But I haven't gotten one yet.
I've seen, 30 grand. Well, I guess it depends on where you're buying your house from, but I don't think you can buy too many houses for 30 grand. So, I'm looking at tractors. There was an auction place that dealt in estate sales, and so they were finding a lot of really good used Kubota tractors.
Yeah.
And Chris was telling me, stay away from the auctions. If a tractor's at an auction, it's there for a reason. It's going to be ridden hard, and it's a piece of junk, or it's got a lot of hours on it, and there's a reason why they got rid of it. And I thought that was probably a pretty good suggestion. But I said I told him about the other place that they dealt specifically in estate sales, where some old guy kicked the bucket, and his wife sold the farm off and wanted to get rid of the tractor, and they got a smoking deal. If I could pick up a $40,000 tractor for 15 grand with low hours on it,
yeah,
I'm going to do it. So I'm definitely going to go that route and look and check that into first, get the most bang for my buck.
Yeah. Chris was right about auctions for big equipment, but you can actually find some really good diamonds at those auctions if you know what to look for. The owner of Mountain Cascade used to go to auctions, and he'd go to a lot of auctions, and sometimes he'd bring back some stuff that's absolutely fabulous. He brings something back that we think is a pile of junk. Because no, we're tearing it apart we're using it for parts to build this new contraption I want to make.
Yeah.
And so where it was, the engine was good, the hydraulic pumps and stuff were good, but the train was wrong. We tear it all apart. We build this new contraption he wanted to build, special equipment. Worked great for years.
Right.
You got to look at what parts you want from it and what you want to do with it. But he found some good pettibone cranes that all we needed to do was just change the cable. everything else worked great on it.
Yeah, that's funny you said that, because I have a friend that's got another friend up in actually Montana that's got a 30-ton Lorraine crane that he wants to sell real bad. The guy's kind of retired, and I could pick up that crane for like 12 grand, but I'd have to put $6,000 worth of tires on it, and I'd probably have to change the cable. I'd have to probably put in another 15 grand into that crane. So I'm thinking, okay, buy my own crane or buy a tractor and go to work right away with the tractor, and I can use it. I can't use a crane on my property, so I'm thinking, yeah. If I want to go run a crane again, I guess I can go work for one of the local companies up there. There's plenty of them, lots of it going on. So we'll see what happens. But good grief, towards this summertime, towards the end of this year, we're gonna know. So
Blue Healer said yes, but can you put a bat wing on it?
Yeah, I've seen those big batwing mowers. Those things are pretty cool, but I don't have great big landscapes to mow.
You don't have big pastures.
No, I don't have pastures to mow. I've got brush and stuff. So.
Hillsides.
Hey, cabin in the woods. Yeah, I think tractors are super sexy. We had Chris from Holly Ridge Homestead in here, and he's got a fun video where he's got his wife driving his John Deere, and he's singing to her, talking about how sexy the tractor is. She likes him for his sexy tractor. It's a great video. So cabin in the woods. If you don't know who Chris from Holly Ridge Homestead is, go check him out. He was in the live stream earlier tonight. Good stuff. Great video, great live tonight, Gil. Thank you very much for having me in here. And
all right, so I'm gonna kill this now, guys, out in the chat there. We've been on in a while, and hang around for a second, Scott, till we're done. So everyone, stay happy, stay safe. See you.